gentlemen, welcome. My name is Joe Lara. I'm here with Luke Lendler, and we are back here for game day 3 live from CPKC Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, on the banks of the Missouri River. We are ready to witness a exciting matchup between the #1 seeded TCU Horned Frogs versus the #4 seeded BYU Cougars. Luke, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Joao. It is probably the best weather we've gotten for a match day so far. The sun is just beginning to set. You know, we got an extra hour of sleep on this past weekend. The sun is just now beginning to set, casting the stadium in a bit of a golden light for the golden hour. But this is going to be a good game. I'm really excited for the matchup we have between these two teams. They have met once before. It was a resounding 4-1 TCU win on September 19th. Yet BYU is a talented squad that has only lost, 3 games in the league this year. They are a very, very good team that can keep it close with just about anybody. They might need this win to get into the tournament, so they're going to be playing for a lot. But I'm especially going to be looking for Cromanhook. Mika Cromanhook, 5'8" freshman, local kid from Mapleton, Utah. She started 19 games for them this season and 19 games played. Last game, 2 goals, 2 assists. Quite the afternoon for her. I'm going to see what she can do against this strong TCU defense.
And really, we are just waiting here. We are moments away from kickoff. We are currently at 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Local time, 4:35 here from Kansas City. Luckily, not an early game, not a late game. Finally, no games delayed by weather or really just pushed up as the BYU Cougars now march onto the field. Still awaiting TCU, who's still in their huddle, getting hyped up with I Just Wanna Rock in the background.
A little bit of Philly rap, gotta love it, all the way out here in Missouri. And I just want to talk about this BYU team real quick. This is a team that came into the season with a lot of expectations. They were coaches polled to pick first in the league. They came in with a lot of just anticipation for this year and knowing what they can do and how they can do it. And they faltered a little bit. Out of the gate, conference play, they picked up a road loss to Arizona during conference play, a team that crashed out in the first round of this tournament, being upset by the Baylor Bears. So they know they have a lot to prove, but they know they have the talent to prove it. And so for Jennifer Rockwood in her 30th year as coach of this BYU squad, she's won 456 games during her time in Provo, Utah. She's 8th in active Division I winning percentage. This is a big tournament, but she's been here before. She has experience, as does this team. I'm really excited for what they can do because you feel like a team that wants to be doing a little bit better than they are, and they're facing a TCU squad that has just been lights out. They've been excellent so far. Just no losses in the Big 12, only 2 draws. They've been great this year.
Most definitely. And then let's just talk up lineups as the ball is now rolling here from CPKC. On the left side, we have the BYU Cougars, who are in all black tonight. In goal, we have at 00 Lynette Ernaz. And then after that, it's A.B. Frischknecht, Aaron Bailey, Addie Gardner, Ella Rustin, Mika Kromenhoek, Presley Freeman, Allie Fryer, Matten Summers, Lucy Kessler, and Mackenzie Vance for the TCU Horned Frogs, who are attacking from right to left in their white jersey, white short combination with purple sleeves. In goal is number 32, Megan Plashko. After that, we have AJ Hennessy, Jemmy Imathan, Seven Castaigne, Oli Peña, Bella Diorio, Maddie Mooney, Cameron Patton, Morgan Brown, Evie Baker, and Lauren Memely. Ball is now on the right flank as BYU had a throw-in. Now pushing up the field, Presley Freeman, breezing past 2 TCU defenders, letting a low-driven cross inside the box. Intercepted very well by that TCU defense. Can't distribute well. BYU recovering. And it's going to go ahead and be Lucy Kessler with a left-footed shot outside the box. It's going to go ahead and go out for a TCU goal kick.
First slight challenge we've seen of Megan Plashko in goal. She was second team Big 12 All-Conference, has started 13 games for this team this year, and has been kind of a stalwart of their strong defense that's led to such a strong Big 12 season.
Kessler letting a through ball right down the middle of Kromenhoek. Kromenhoek playing it wide. Kromenhoek receiving on the left side of the box, sending a cross in. Ends up finding the hands of Megan Plashko, and that ball is going to go ahead and be dead. TCU starting from the back with Plashko.
Plashko had her 6th clean sheet of the year against Oklahoma State last time out. And really, this is a goalkeeper that I think TCU has a lot of trust in, a lot. Eric Bell knows what he has in her, and he knows he can trust her to kind of hold things down between the pipes.
Oli Pena now in the middle, receiving the ball, letting a cross onto that left flank. Now with Diorio with the step over, running into the box. Low driven pass. BYU just with a little touch, letting it out. It's going to go ahead and be a TCU throw-in off that right wing. On the ball now, Cameron Patton looking for options. Seven Castaigne approaching Patton there.
That was the first test we've seen of this BYU defense, and they had to be a little bit cleaner back there. They kind of let a cross dribble into the middle of the box and kind of deposit itself, potential for something for TCU to kind of turn into a goal. TCU scores a lot off crosses, and they did that quite successfully in their first game against Colorado, netting an open play goal in the first half. They ended up only scoring 2, their second one being a penalty, but this is still a team that likes to attack wide and cross in the middle of the box to find most of their goals. BYU is going to have to be clinical in the defensive third.
Correct, as we now see Diorio on that left flank, has to play it back with Morgan Brown. Morgan Brown is going to go ahead and play even further down the pitch now with Mooney. Mooney once again with Brown. Brown now playing with Baker on the left wing, playing a nice through ball, still on that left wing with Diorio. Diorio who tries to barge her way through through that BYU box, but instead it's going to go ahead and be Ali Fryer who's there to cut off the play. Diorio had the last touch. It's a BYU goal kick. Now starting from the back, it's Avery Frischknecht. Frischknecht facing pressure from Pena, still pushing that ball up the field, crossing that halfway line off the right flank, tries to give a driven pass, cut off by Maddie Mooney in the back. Now plays it wide with Baker. Baker plays it with Pena, and Pena now finds Brown in the back. Ball now with Brown on the left wing, still in her own defensive half, playing a ball down the middle of Pena. Pena, who tried to get through with the nutmeg, still fighting with those BYU defenders, gets a touch, pushes it up the field. The ball is now with Hernandez. Hernandez plays that ball to her left back in Ella Rustin. Rustin playing a ball up that field, and it's going to go ahead and be a foul against the BYU Cougars. It seemed to be Matten Summers who committed the foul. TCU now playing this ball quick. Change of play. Ball is now at the feet of Evie Baker. Evie Baker who gets a little stuck on that ball. Now plays it with her partner at center back, who pushes it up the field, and that's a TCU ball.
And early on, we're seeing the attacking quality between these two teams as there's a through ball.
Diorio rushing into the box off the left side. Falls. Still remains with the ball. Now fighting with Krummenhoek for the ball. Krummenhoek who wins very well. Pena using physical play.
And early on, we're seeing the quality, especially going forward of these two teams. They like to build it up from the back. They like to have these clinical, these short-range passing, but they have the ability to switch the field, and it's been used to both of their advantages so far. Kind of building on these wide attacks, just kind of getting the ball, building a lot of possession and comfort on the right side, and then suddenly pulling out and switching it to the far side of the field. They've done very well in going forward, both teams, in that sense. Also, physicality. We've gotten a couple fouls early on. We're going to have to make sure, that game doesn't get too out of hand. But these are two teams that are usually bigger, more athletic, and stronger than their opponents. When they run into each other, expect a physical battle. It's an unstoppable force and an immovable object.
That's correct, and really physicality is once again going to be a name of the game, and let's see how it affects the outcome. TCU now with the ball in their own half from the throw-in. 39 minutes and 15 seconds left to play in the first half from CPKC, where TCU is still currently tied 0-0 against the Brigham Young University Cougars. There was a foul against TCU. BYU is going to have the ball in TCU's half. Ball has to be played with the defenders now, with center back Avery Frischknecht, who keeps on pushing up the field, now approaching the 18-yard box. Still carries the ball, tries to play it wide to Krummenhoek. Rejected by the TCU defense. It's now recovered by BYU player. Cross into the box. Doesn't find anybody. Goes wide. Now at the feet of AJ Hennessy on the right flank. Decides to play it with Patton in the middle. Patton who got in between two. Found Pena. Pena who had to play it short with Brown. Brown is now with Baker. Baker who tried to play a through ball down that left side to Diorio. Too much power, and it's going to go ahead and go out for a BYU throw-in, still on that left side, now in their own half.
That was the second time in this game we've seen Frischnick kind of push up from her back line, something that Rockwood is comfortable with her veteran center back doing. Frischnick has a lot of quality, not just in her defending, but also her passing. We've seen her try to distribute and push the ball into that attacking third a couple times so far in this match. I'm sure that's something that's going to continue. And with BYU, they play a kind of hybrid 3 at the back, 5 at the back kind of system where one of their fullbacks or wingbacks will drop in to make it look like 4 when they're pressing forward, but when it's time to defend, they definitely shift back to a 5 at the back. It's a tactical system that's worked for them so far this year, but doesn't necessarily match up well to TCU, a team that likes to put a lot of pressure on you even when you're going forward.
TCU with a lack of numbers up front. Diorio has to play the ball back with their center back, who's now facing immense pressure from this BYU squad. BYU now recovering in TCU's half, now approaching the 18-yard box. Aaron Bailey, who tried to get in between two, ends up losing the ball. Now it's Cameron Patton for the TCU Horned Frogs, who plays the ball up the field to Castaigne. Castaigne once again with Patton. Patton plays the ball off to Hennessy on the right side. Once again finding Patton, still in that middle. Ball once again with Hennessy, now on the right wing, still in her own defensive half. Has to play that ball back with Memoli. Memoli with a nice change of play, finding Diorio on the left-hand side. Diorio facing up against Frischnitt. Barging into the box, Diorio, letting off a nice cross. Castaigne can't get a touch on it, and BYU is going to clear that ball out. Lucy Kessler sends it to the throw-in for the TCU Horned Frogs.
Excellent run by Diorio, showing us why she's Big 12 Forward of the Year, getting in behind the BYU defense. No shots for her in the previous game against Colorado. That was just the second time this season she hasn't put up a shot in a game. She's going to want to get on track early and often in this one.
Patton now with the ball in BYU territory, has to play it back with Emethan. Emethan, who plays it with Brown. Brown now playing with Mooney. Mooney decides to play back with Plasko. Plasko right outside that 18-yard box, plays it wide to the right with Emethan. Emethan now carrying the ball, plays Hennessy in the middle. Hennessy now finding Brown. Brown with a nice change of play once again for Diorio. Diorio heavy play here as Diorio lets it cross off into the box, attempting to find Castaigne. Instead, it's cut off by Avery Frischnick, and this ball is going to go out for the first corner kick of the game. 35 minutes, 32 seconds left to play in this first half, and we are still at a standstill, 0-0.
Another good play by Frischnick. She continues her strong start to this game, both going forward and defensively. With the way BYU likes to kind of play and defend the counterattack, you're going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups, just defender and attacker, and the best player's going to come out on top. She's been matched up with Seven Castaigne this entire day, and so far she's prevented the ball from ever finding her feet cleanly, giving BYU good defense.
Correct. Diorio letting a ball in off that left-handed side, rejected by the BYU defense. Ball still in the box. TCU letting off a shot, but Ernest is going to be there to receive the ball and is now going to allow this BYU squad to reset from the back.
First save and kind of first action we've seen from Hernez. 19 starts for her this season, 66 saves, and only 25 goals allowed. Pretty good numbers for a goalkeeper that is playing her first season in the Big 12 after transferring in from Washington State, formerly of the Pac-12, now of the Pac-2 the season before. So we're going to have to see. This is a kind of first time she's had the high-stakes conference tournament action. She's done pretty well so far in this tournament, not allowing many goals, if at all. And for her to really continue on her strong tournament, she's going to have to show up and play well today.
TCU finding difficulties in the back. Now it's going to go ahead and be Gardner down that right-hand side, trying to let it cross into the box. Rejected by Patton. Now it's Diorio on the left-hand side. Diorio attempting to get past Mika Krommenhoek. Diorio is going to have the last touch on that ball, and it's going to go ahead and be a BYU throw-in off that right-hand side. Ball now over the top. Attempting to find Bailey.
Interesting.
Doesn't find Bailey, and that ball is going to go ahead and go out for a TCU goal kick. Wasted opportunity.
Big contact there. Maddie Moody making her presence felt. Ball was kind of tricking towards the end line. Aaron Bailey and Maddie Moody both going for it. Once they realize, hey, it's out of Aaron Bailey's range, she kind of pulls up a little bit. Moody comes in, just shoulder checks her, puts her right on the turf, and kind of looks down at her and says, yeah, that's all day. That is all day. Better expect that physicality when you come in in the area like that. And so we're going to see if that physicality can really, really continue, especially as both these teams tend to get tired.
Correct, and let's see if it's still as persistent in the second half. Obviously, it's still early in this game. 33 minutes and 12 seconds still left to play in this first half. And it's been a very physical game so far. BYU now on their right-handed side, still in their own defensive half, sort of in between their 18-yard box and the halfway line. Throwing. Ball now finds Bailey. Bailey facing pressure from 2 TCU players. Ends up touching it just enough for Presley. Presley who navigates around a TCU defender. Nice little body feints to get past. Now plays a ball down the middle. Had 2 options. They sort of complicate, don't communicate with each other, but instead it's Fryer with the ball.
Wow,
Fryer
nice move.
letting off a right-footed shot right outside the box, passing that right post and giving BYU their first clear opportunity of this game. Luke, can you tell me what worked for the Cougars on that play?
That was really, really nice build-up, especially between Presley Freeman and Allie Fryer. You know, one is young, one is old. Freeman, a freshman. Fryer, a junior. Fryer, 11 goals in the season, most on the team. They did a really, really good job kind of playing quick tiki-taka passing just between the two of them, almost like they could hear each other's thoughts, almost like they were telepathic. They knew exactly what runs to make, and it gave Fryer a good opportunity from outside the box. She unleashed it kind of early, to be completely honest. I was expecting her to take a couple more touches, maybe try one from closer in. But, you know, Rockwood's never going to be upset with shots, especially from distance. This is a good TCU team, a really good TCU team. And if you're going to score first, you're going to put yourself in a really, really nice position. So you want to be aggressive early, just like how Fryer was. BYU building up well and playing extremely well so far.
Correct, and this match has more implications for BYU than it does TCU, as we now see BYU in the attack on that left flank. Attack cut off very well by Cameron Patton, who now has the ball in her own half, plays it up to Castaigne. Castaigne shielding the ball between 2 BYU defenders, ends up finding space. Ball is now played with Memley. Memley, who had pressure from 2 BYU players, has to play it quick to her right back. Ball is now with the center back, Maddie Mooney. Maddie Mooney playing that ball wide to Baker. Baker finding Brown. Ball's once again with Baker. Baker attempting to let off a pass to Pena, who had open space. Ball ends up bouncing off of a BYU defender, and it's going to go ahead and go out for a TCU throw-in, still in their own defensive half, but on the left-handed side.
Nice tackle there by Addie Gardner, making her presence felt on the wing. These are 2 big teams. They're going to want to be physical, and neither of them have committed any heinous kind of offenses so far. So right now we're seeing nice tackle. As I say that, there's a trip up that could be a yellow card. Referee immediately going for his pocket, and I have spoke far too soon. Avery Frischnick, she was having a pretty strong half until a loose ball was going between her and I think that's Pena down there. Frischnick, you know, was going for the ball, got about, you know, none of the ball. All of the shin of Pena sent her tumbling to the ground. A little bit of extra effort, you know, after the fact, kind of flicked her toe up, sending Pena crashing to the field. So that's going to be the first yellow card we've seen for Frischnick all year. Would you believe that? All year it's the first yellow card for the BYU center back. She's, you know, done well all season, done well this tournament, done well this game. I don't expect this to impact her style of play very early on, impact it very much. But the referee making very clear, hey, listen, you know, you can be physical, shoulder checks, but I got to draw the line somewhere. And I think he did a pretty good job setting the precedent for what's going to earn you a card as this game goes on.
Very disciplined defense for BYU, and it's really shown with that stat line you just mentioned. This play could be dangerous for the Horned Frogs. Ball now led into the box from the Oreo. Going towards that first post, led out by Hernez, but still with Memley. Memley who hits it up, tries to find Patton, rejected by the BYU defense, and Memley finds the ball outside the box once again. Ball sweeping into the middle, still rejected by BYU, and BYU's going to try to play out the back, and there's a foul against TCU. Addie Gardner, who's tripped up right outside her own 18, and BYU's going to play this quickly. Now pushing up the field down that left-handed side near that TCU 18-yard box. It's Ella Rustin. Ella Rustin who tries to let it cross inside the box. Instead, it's rejected by Maddie Mooney, and it's going to go ahead and go out for the first BYU corner kick of this game.
Flashing back to that TCU set piece. Excellent, excellent job there by Hernez. She could have stayed on her line and been kind of timid and a little bit scared and let a shot come at her. No. She came right out. She said, this is going to be my 6-yard box. I'm going to control my 6-yard box. That's all you can ask from her. She came out. You'd probably maybe want her to catch that, but nonetheless, a 2 fists clumped together almost like she's a volleyball player, punching it way out of the 18. A nice punch and a good job by the BYU defense to clear the ball and get rid of any danger.
The best keepers are those that command their box. BYU now letting a cross into the middle of the box. Finds the head of Aaron Bailey, but it goes over the crossbar.
Gonna say it took a TCU deflection there. Gonna be a BYU corner kick now. The Cougars are a pretty good set-piece team. They rely on a lot of their goals from open play, especially the creativity of players like Croman Hook in the middle of the field, kind of distributing and setting up guys like Ali Fryer. But nonetheless, they're a tall team with good center backs that can score from these positions.
Ali Fryer now letting a right-footed cross inside the box. Rejected by TCU's defense. Still ends up finding Kessler for BYU on that left-hand side. Near the 18-yard box. Plays it off to her teammate. Ball now going inside the box. Ends up finding the head of Mika Croman-Hook, who can't hit it well. And it's going to go ahead and go out for a TCU goal kick here with 28 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in this first half from CPKC Stadium. Still 0-0.
We're calling Croman-Hook's name often, but not as often as we did last game. Incredible game for her last time out. 2 goals, 2 assists, doubled her season total before the game with 2 goals. Really, she's a player that can kind of take over the game at any minute. So, be careful and watch out because she could really kind of command this game and perhaps even win it for the Cougars in the second half.
Correct. And as we now see TCU push out the back with their center back, Maddie Mooney, who has crossed the halfway line, has to play it wide with Evie Baker. Baker, who's carrying, can't really find anybody, has to play with Mooney once again. Mooney finding Plaschka, who's well ways outside of her own goal. Ends up hitting the ball up, rejected by BYU. BYU now attempting an attack here, sort of a tussle in the middle. The ball doesn't have an owner yet, but now it does, and the name of the owner is Mika Croman-Hook. Croman-Hook, who ends up playing with Kessler. Kessler with Croman-Hook once again has to play it back into BYU defensive territory, and it's Summers who finds pressure from Castaigne. Castaigne now recovering this ball for TCU. Pena on the run on the left, and Diorio too. Diorio receiving the ball, left-handed side of the 18-yard box. Takes a touch, lets a right-footed shot out, but Hernez with a diving save to keep that ball in her hands and cut off a TCU attack.
Quality from both sides there. A nice shot by Diorio. Good operation for her on that left side. This near side closest to us. She's dangerous with the ball at her feet. She did a good job. Still, honestly, very underrated defense there by Presley Freeman, making Diorio pick a side, forcing her inside and making the angle difficult for the Big 12 forward of the year. Ultimately, it comes down to an exceptional save by Hernez, holding the ball in her gloves and not letting it, squirt out of her hands, maybe necessarily dribble around a couple extra bounces in the box and leave her exposed in the back end. She did a really good job diving, clutching, grasping, and then just falling on top of the ball, making sure she avoids danger against a very good TCU team that will pounce on any opportunity.
A very commanding performance here from Hernez today, as there was a foul against BYU. Referee plays advantage. TCU ends up recovering. Referee with no call here. Evie Baker plays the ball with Mooney. Mooney attempting to find Pena. Pena just getting a touch on it, but losing the ball. As we now see BYU in TCU territory, getting closer and closer to the 18-yard box. As we now see Croman-Hook. Croman-Hook, right side of the box, letting a cross in. Shot not well taken from BYU. Finding a rebound, finding a shot, and it's going to be Vance who scores for the Cougars, letting BYU up 1-0 here with 25 minutes and 46 seconds left to play. Luke, tell me.
The Cougars taking a big lead, taking a very, very important lead against this TCU team just 20 minutes into the match. I've called her name before, and I'm going to call it again. That was all Mika Croman-Hook. She did an excellent job making a deceptive run in behind the TCU defensive line, controlled it, could have taken a shot from a tough angle, but no. She's a distributor first and a scorer second. Sends it in the middle of the box. A chance for Ali Fryer. She kind of scuffs the finish, but it takes a couple deflections and falls right to the feet of Mackenzie Vance. Does a good job calling off the other teammates rushing for the ball and deposits the ball just past the outstretched leg of Megan Plaschko. That was excellent. Really just excellent by Mackenzie Vance. It will be her 7th goal of the season. And she continues, and this BYU attack continues to rack up the goals early in this tournament.
Nice defensive awareness here from Vance. Recognize that this play could have gone bad and to score, as we now see TCU attempting again to attack. Pena letting a ball near BYU territory, now rejected by their center backs, and it's Croman-Hook with the ball in her own half. Now playing with Summers. Summers trying to play a ball over the top to Ali Fryer. Instead, it's going to go out for a TCU throw-in on that right-hand side. And Patton is going to be the person to distribute this ball from this throw-in. BYU with a good defensive position here.
Important times for TCU here. They went down 1-0 to Colorado early on last game. They did a good job equalizing before halftime and then ended up winning it in the second half. They are still the favorites. They are the 1 seed. They are expected to win this game, and they know it. It's not like Eric Bell's teams to be phased, and I don't think they will be here. But what's very, very important for them, be disciplined. Do not let one BYU goal and maybe some BYU aggression or press after possession loss, do not let that speed you up and throw you off your game. You're the 1 seed for a reason. You have a better record. You're undefeated in conference, and as I say that, they turn it over here, edge of the box.
Summers letting off a left-footed shot. Going close. Dangerous. But Plaschko with a one-handed save to push that ball over the bar, sending it for a BYU corner kick.
Good save there by Plaschko, kind of parrying the ball over the bar, just straight up. Nice job for her, extending that right arm and just popping the ball up and over the crossbar. Announcers jinx there. I was just saying they had to be disciplined and not get sped up. They turned it over immediately. But the point still stands. They are the better team, undefeated in conference play this year. Play your game. Stick to what you're good at. You will find your way back into this match before you know it.
Corner kick now for BYU. Played it short. Cut off very well by TCU defense. AJ Hennessy going between two. Pushing near the midfield, has to take her turn back to her own left wing, still in her own defensive half, facing immense pressure from Mika Kromenhoek, person who created that BYU play and, in my opinion, should have the assist. Don't know if she was credited for it or not, but is going to commit a foul. TCU not playing the ball from their own half. Ball is now at the feet of Jenny Imathan, who plays it to the left, to the right of her with Memely. Memely, who tried to play it up the field to Cameron Patton. Can't control. BYU now with the ball. Ball now played over the top, attempting to find Kromenhoek. Instead, it's cut off by Memely. Memely finding pressure once again from Kromenhoek, who gets a touch on the ball and sends it out for a TCU throw-in on the right-hand side.
Some substitution action here for the Horned Frogs. We're going to see Jordan Whitekirk come in, a defender, probably just, for fresh legs, trying to maintain a lot of fitness. Evie Baker will step off. Whitekirk doesn't appear often for this team, 14 games played. She hasn't started a single one yet, but last time out, got an assist against BYU on September 19th. She maybe could be the Cougar killer for the Horned Frogs today.
I like that term, Cougar killer. Let's see what impact she has once again. 22 minutes here left to play in the first half. There's still lots to play, but TCU needs to show more signs of life if they want to stay in this game here.
Kind of a delayed foul call there by the referee on the far side. Seemed like he wanted to play advantage, and then the entire BYU team kind of just stopped and said, we don't want advantage, we just want the free kick. So nonetheless, it's going to seem like BYU is going to get a free kick just from a couple yards inside the sideline on the far side, just around half field. Could be a good opportunity for them to start their build-up play, but they will not be sending it into the box from this distance.
Summers on the ball. Decides to play the ball close with Vance. Vance, who plays it back to Summers, a one-time pass. Now changing the field on the right side with Presley Freeman. Freeman attempting to push this ball up to her teammate. Can't find her, and instead it's cut off by Maddie Mooney in the back for TCU. Ends up playing it off to her teammate, who ends up playing it to Plaschko once again. Facing immense pressure, has to push it up the field. Now the ball's with Oli Pena. Oli Pena attempting to find Diorio over the top. The ball doesn't get enough direction. And instead it's going to go out for a BYU throw-in off that left-handed side.
And I like that. I like that aggression from Pena. I mean, if TCU, like I said, they should stick to their game and do what they're good at. And what they're good at, relying on their stars. They have the midfielder of the year on this team. They have the forward of the year on this team in Pena and Diorio, respectfully. And if you want to get back in this game, you just need one goal to tie it, and then it's wide open. I still think this game is wide open, even though they're 1-0 down. And they got to rely on their stars and know the quality is going to get them back in this game. Don't try to speed it up. Don't try to base it off luck. Don't try to score any gimmicky goals. Know that you have the better players here. You know you're the better team, the higher seed. At least that's kind of the mentality I think they should have. And just build it up from the back. Find the open, players, pass it, find the channels, find the gaps, and do your best to hold possession, tire BYU out, because you know they might make a mistake, and when they do, your quality is going to be right there to pounce on it.
Correct, and now we see Belle Diorio, someone who Luke had just mentioned on the corner kick. Sweeping ball inside, rejected by Vance, but Pena is going to recover this ball in between the halfway line and the 18-yard box, letting a right-footed cross inside the box, deflecting off of a BYU defender, finding a BYU defender inside the box, now cleared out by Summers. Carmen Hook with the ball still in her own half, facing pressure from two TCU players. Plays it off to her teammate, and now there's a good ball down that left-hand side. Cross inside the box, trying to find Summers. Instead, it's going to find Bailey. Bailey playing it off to Gardner. Gardner inside the box, setting off a right-footed shot. Ball that crossed the right post of Plashko, and it's going to go ahead and go out for a TCU goal kick. Once again, BYU creating opportunities in TCU territory.
Good pressure there for BYU. TCU again kind of sloppy with the ball and trying to get it out of the back, trying to maybe be a little bit too cute, trying to play it a little too short. At a certain point, you got to just boot it out and follow and try to gain possession back towards the midfield point. But when they try to build it up from that close with that amount of BYU pressure, I think they're lucky to have avoided disaster there.
Correct. As we now see Oli Pena down that left-hand side, has to play it close to her teammate. Ball once again with Pena on that left-hand side of the box, near the touchline. Tries to cross it, rejected by a BYU defender. Ends up getting the cross eventually, rejected once again by BYU. And there is going to be a foul right outside the 18-yard box. Foul against Seven Castaigne, and this could be a dangerous opportunity for TCU.
This is a dangerous position right here. TCU probably 3 yards outside of the edge of the D. This is kind of where when you're playing soccer with your buddies in the park and you're like, let's try some free kicks. This is about where everybody wants to kick from. This is kind of like the spot. This is the spot where you see all the great goals be scored from. Just maybe 22, 24 yards out, and this is a team with strong legs, a team that could really kind of make you pay from these kind of positions, usually known to assist from, assist set piece goals. They could score direct here. We'll see what Caroline Kelly can do. See what
Caroline Kelly on the ball. Danger, danger, danger for the TCU Horned Frogs. Letting off a right-footed shot, getting close to that right post once again, but instead it's going to go out for a BYU goal kick. 17 minutes, 33 seconds left to play in this first half, and the Cougars are still up by 1.
That was a pretty good free kick, just pushed it a little bit wide. Kelly did a really good job to get it up and over the wall, but kind of sat it down, put a lot of topspin on the ball, and ended up just basically hitting the end line and kind of careening bounce just a yard wide of the goal. Still, if TCU gets that opportunity again, best believe Kelly is somebody to be feared from that spot.
And there are going to be some substitutions for both sides. For TCU, coming on as Jordan Whitetaker, coming off as Evie Baker, then also coming on for AJ Hennessy is Cameron Lancaster, and then coming on for Bella Diorio is Caroline Kelly, someone we just mentioned, and then a substitution for BYU. Sierra Pennick coming on for Aaron Bailey, as the cross is now led inside the box. Instead, it's going to go a little too wide, and it's going to go out for a TCU goal kick.
Another pretty good build-up by BYU there. They're continuing to just be aggressive, pressure this TCU backline. They're doing it quite well. They're forcing TCU into heavy touches, and they're doing a nice job putting a little bit of pressure here on Plashko, maybe trying to force a mistake as the first half comes to an end and legs get tired. This is an important 16 minutes for both these teams. BYU can put kind of a nail, not a whole nail, maybe half the nail into the coffin if they score here, taking a 2-0 lead with how well they've defended. Meanwhile, TCU cannot let themselves make any mistakes and overexpose themselves and put themselves in a 2-goal deficit, but what they can do is use their quality to equalize. This is a team that equalized just before half against Colorado last time out, and they know they can do it again. It's up to them to do it. They're not going to be able to count on a BYU mistake. They're going to have to rely on their quality and their star players.
As we now see Addie Gardner play a ball to Hook off the right side, and now cut off by Morgan Brown. Brown, who plays it short to her teammate. There's a deflection off a BYU defender, and it's Oli Pena who ends up finding the ball, but Caroline Kelly is going to be tripped up in the process, and an off-the-ball foul for a TCU ball in their own half. TCU trying to play this short and sweet, but cut off by BYU in their own defensive half. As we now see Allie Fryer play it wide to Addie Gardner. Addie Gardner, who tried to get past the TCU defense off the right flank. Ball is going to go out for a BYU throw-in, still on that right-handed side. Ball is now with Presley Freeman. Freeman trying to find the options. TCU with a good defensive stance. Each player with a person on. Ball inside the box, now rejected by TCU. Ends up finding Oli Pena, who boots this ball up the field. But instead it's going to change hands, and it's a BYU ball with Ella Rustin. Rustin charging down the left side of the field. Now playing it off to her teammate right outside the 18-yard box, letting off a right-footed shot near the right post. But nevertheless, Megan Plashko is there to collect the ball and reset for TCU here with 14 minutes and 23 seconds left to play in this first half.
Sierra Pennock trying one from distance there, trying to put her name on the score sheet, make her presence felt. Now just coming off the bench for the Cougars. She's a off-experienced player in this team. 20 appearances now coming into the game. This is her 20th appearance to make her way onto the pitch tonight. Just started 2 games, but she's a good distributor from that left wing. 3 assists to her name so far this season. That doesn't mean she can't let it go from distance, and she was definitely trying one there. I'm sure she'll continue to be aggressive as the game goes on.
Substitution here for BYU as number 11, Addie Gardner, is going to come off, and coming on the pitch is number 10, Caroline Stringfellow. BYU now playing from the back with Freeman. Freeman on that right-handed side tries to find Stringfellow, who ends up getting tripped up in the process by Brown. It's going to be a BYU ball in TCU territory near that halfway line. Could see a cross into the box here as Avery Frischnick is now on the ball.
Frischnick could cap off her strong first half here with a good assist. Now rather she'll just play it backwards. An important 13.5 minutes though for this BYU team. They've commanded possession a lot recently in this half, and I think they kind of think they deserve a goal from what they've done, and this could be a big chance for them here in this TCU attacking third.
Stringfellow attempting the cross on that right-hand side. Instead, it's going to go out, not even near the goal, into the supporter section for a TCU goal kick. Ball is played short with Patton. Now with Mooney. Ball played with Whitaker. Whitaker, who finds Castaigne near that halfway line. Now playing it with Memley. Memley attempting to find who seemed to be Kelly off that left-handed side. A little bit too much on that ball, and it's going to go ahead and go out for a BYU throw-in on that right-handed side. As we now see Freeman on the ball, attempting to play Stringfellow over the top. She does find it. Stringfellow now playing a short ball to Sierra Pennock. Pennock, who tries to boot this ball up. Instead, it's cut off by Patton for TCU. Patton, North Memley, in the middle of the pitch. Ball going over the top to Lancaster. Lancaster game pass 2 with a handball in the process. Now it's going to be a BYU ball in their own defensive half.
I was going to say, pretty surprised that wasn't called earlier. I think that was Vance committed maybe one of the more egregious, handballs I've ever seen. She didn't exactly pick up the ball and hit it, but she, used her bicep, tricep, and just kind of hit the ball with it to put it in front of her. Interesting move there from her.
Cross now left inside the box for TCU. Right outside, Lancaster navigating between 1, 2, letting off another cross, trying to find Castaigne. Instead it goes over. Patton attempting to get to that ball. Can't really get there, and now it's an Ernaz goal kick for BYU.
Hernandez not called into action very much tonight, aside from that early save on Diorio. I'm sure she's quite happy with that to keep her gloves and knees and socks clean from diving all over this grass. Nonetheless, she's probably going to be needed in the second half, so I think it's important that she stays on top of things and doesn't get complacent back there between the sticks.
Correct. You can't let your guard down, especially against a really good side just like TCU. Stringfellow tried to receive a ball, cut off by Mooney in the process. This ball is going to go out for a BYU throw-in right at that halfway mark. Ball attempting to find Stringfellow. Instead, finds the head of Brown. Brown, who plays it to Memley. Memley now with Patton. Patton touching the ball, still in her own half. Decides to play it back to Imathan near her own 18-yard. Now plays it with Mooney. Mooney ends up finding Whitaker. Whitaker, who attempted to find Castaigne. Ball is deflected by BYU defender. Now recovered by TCU. Caroline Kelly off the left-hand side. Now playing a short ball to Oli Pena. Oli Pena attempting to put in a left-footed cross. Instead, it's going to be rejected by Presley Freeman for BYU, and it's going to go ahead and go out for a TCU corner kick here with 10 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in the first half, where the Horned Frogs are currently down 1-0 versus the BYU Cougars.
Nice build up there. Kelly and Pena with pretty good chemistry. We'll see if that could lead to a goal later in the game, or even perhaps could lead to a goal from this corner. Interested to see how TCU takes this. They took them short a lot in the first game.
Patton, cross inside the box. It's hit out by BYU defenders. Finds the left foot of Oli Pena, who lets off a shot. Not enough power on it. Instead, it's going to find the hands of Lynette Ernez. Ernez, now from the back, playing it short with Frischknecht. Frischknecht on the right hand of that 18-yard box. Plays a ball through to her teammate. Ends up losing, and now it's Oli Pena right outside the 18. Trying to play a ball through to Kelly. Now rejected by Frischknecht once again. But Pena, who receives the ball once again by tracking back. Now playing that ball wide with Patton. Right-handed side of the 18-yard box. Attempts to find Kelly inside. Instead, it finds Memley. Memley with a cross to Kelly. Rejected once again by Frischknecht. Frischknecht, who tries to recover that ball, can't really get there. And it's going to be a TCU corner kick once again here with 8 minutes and 59 seconds left to play in this first half.
I know Halloween is past, but Frischknecht is like the boogeyman out there. You look and she's there. She's been covering the passing lane exceptionally well for the Cougars all night. She's one of the reasons TCU hasn't gotten a golden chance yet.
Ball near the penalty hash mark. Fighting inside the box, but now it's Frischknecht once again who rejects the ball. Pena, who finds it right outside. Rejected once again by BYU defender. Now it's going to be a shot led off by a TCU forward. But instead, it's going to go out for a BYU goal kick. That ball was nowhere near that goal.
It wasn't. And again, it was a pretty good job by BYU to stay compact. Hernandez didn't come out of her goal, didn't necessarily kind of punch, grab, do anything. She left it up to her defenders. They did a good job. They stayed compact. They cleared the ball out, and they were physical. TCU tries a run, run in behind, just knock them down. The ref hasn't called it and will not call it in the future. That was a nice, defensive possession there and a good piece of team defending from the BYU Cougars.
Correct, and the referee is going to go ahead and mark an offside position. It was number 44, Mackenzie Vance, who has scored the goal for BYU in this game, who is now marked an offside position. TCU playing it quickly. Now it's Morgan Brown in the middle, finding Oli Pena. Pena now giving a nice little touch to Lancaster. Lancaster playing this ball over the top on that left-handed side with Kelly. Kelly approaching the 18-yard box on that left-handed side. Lets off a shot. Blocked once again by Frischknecht. And now it's an opportunity for BYU to find the counter Stringfellow. Cut off once again by Lancaster. Plays it to Pena in the middle. Pena right outside the 18-yard box. Plays a quick pass to Castaigne. Now rejected by the BYU defense. Now attempting to push up the field. Tries to give a pass to her teammate, Mika Kromenhoek. Instead, it's rejected by Maddie Mooney for TCU. And TCU attempting to find the counterattack ball over the top, attempting to find Castaigne. Rejected by number 27, Madden Summers. This ball is going to go out for a TCU throw-in on the left-hand side with 6 minutes and 52 seconds left to play in this first half. Castaigne with Pena. Pena taking a touch, now finding Whiteside. Now playing Lancaster near that half circle in the 18-yard box. Castaigne, who recovers for TCU. BYU instead getting a nice foot on it. Now with Mika Kromenhoek. Kromenhoek facing pressure from Kelly. Kelly getting a touch on it. That ball is going to go ahead and go out for a BYU throw-in. Still in their own defensive half on the right-handed side. And there's going to be a substitution for the Cougars. Who's coming on and who's coming off, Luke?
Seems like we're going to be saying goodbye. And probably see you later to Allie Fryer. She's done very, very well going forward for the Cougars so far today. Coming on the field, still not sure who's going to make an appearance for the Cougars. It's going to be Savannah Hansen, not a player that appears often for this BYU team, but one that can make a big impact. I'm sure Rockland is hoping she can just hold it down for the next 5 minutes and 50 seconds as the Cougars lead 1-0 before halftime.
As we now see Lancaster right outside the 18-yard box, playing a short ball to 7 Castaigne. Castaigne once again with Lancaster, now finding Patton. Patton with an explosive move to get past the defender, letting it cross inside the box, finding Kelly. Kelly with the right foot of shot, she's going to go ahead and score! TCU tying this game up with 5 minutes and 35 seconds
Patton could probably hear the theme music in her head, the Brazilian music in her head, a picture-perfect elastico to wrap it around the defender on the edge of the 18, and then a beautifully floated-in ball. This is deposited by Caroline Kelly. Kelly, 11 goals to her name. You talk about a threat off the bench. You're BYU. You defend Diorio hard all game. You're thinking, okay, cool. Where the BYU, the Big 12 forward of the year is going to come off the field. We're good. Nuh-uh. Here comes Caroline Kelly. 11 goals, 2 assists to her name this year. She is just as much of a threat, and she shows it there. It is 1-1 now with 5:30 left in this first half. What a buildup, and that's what I'm talking about. TCU just had to be patient. They knew their stars were going to come through. They knew they could count on Kelly to get them a goal at some point, and sure enough, there it is. Excellent finish, just deposit in the back of the net. Wasn't a lot BYU could do there, and that's how you know the attack was good. Like, even otherworldly defending might not have prevented that goal. It was just an excellent buildup, a perfect ball, and an even better finish for the Horned Frogs, who have now equalized just before halftime for the second game in a row.
Absolutely phenomenal play from Caroline Kelly, as she had been storming down that left-hand side for most of the first half and still hadn't found the opportunity. She gets that ball inside the box, and she does not miss that opportunity. TCU now storming up the field once again down the middle with Lancaster. Lancaster now playing with Memley. Memley with Patton on the right-hand side, letting off across to Seven Castaigne. Seven Castaigne is going to get a touch on that right foot, and she's going to go ahead and score for the TCU Horned Frogs once again. A minute apart, Luke, and these Horned Frogs are now up 2-1.
It's a blitz. You blink and you'll miss it. You look one way, you take a sip of your water, maybe a bite of your snack, you look back, and all of a sudden, here come the Horned Frogs. 2 goals in a minute. They now lead 2-1. Incredible stuff. Great build-up, a good cross, and really, it just felt like that first goal kind of woke them up. I love to use the expression of, a boxer in a fight. These two teams exchanging jabs. BYU lands a big hit. TCU lands an even bigger hit, and it's suddenly like, oh my God, I can do this? Like, this is something I can do? Boom. All of a sudden, the second goal inside of a minute, attacking well, using their speed and just quality and skill on the outside. 2 crosses into the box in last minute, 2 deposited goals. BYU has to be careful right now because this game could slip away pretty quickly.
TCU showing why they're #1 in Big 12, why they're number 6 on the top drawer soccer poll, number 7 in the U.S. coaches poll, and number 14 in the NCAA midseason poll. Absolutely phenomenal from these Horned Frogs. Now BYU trying to find an answer here on the left-hand side of TCU, on the TCU box.
These Cougars, though, not a team that likes to go away quietly. They will not just lay down and kind of pray for the rest of the game that they get a TCU mistake. They're a team that's going to go out here, try to take this game by the scruff of its neck, and equalize as soon as they can.
Vance with the cross inside the box, attempting to find Presley Freeman. It's going to go ahead and go over and out. But instead, it got a TCU player deflection. It's going to be a throw-in. Mika Cromenhoek now on the ball. On the right-hand side has Freeman. Decides to play Stringfellow instead. Can't get a nice touch on the ball. It's going to go out for a TCU goal kick. And absolutely amazing from what these Horned Frogs have done near the end of the first half, when it seemed like they didn't have life, when their attacks were cut off, and Avery Frischknecht was having an absolute stellar game.
Just Patton. That was Patton again. Another assist from Cameron Patton, just being, energetic, full of life, and full of quality down that far side, down that right side for the Horned Frogs. She's done a really good job all night. You kind of felt like one assist was coming, and she definitely had the quality to deserve a second, and there she got it. So now, 2-1 TCU. How does BYU recover? They just got to get into halftime at this point. They got to batten down the hatches and not concede again.
Lancaster trying to navigate through that TCU defense. Now rejected by BYU. Instead, it's going to go ahead and find the feet of Brown. Brown, who plays it wide to Whitaker. Whitaker, who can't get the pass through. Now it's a tussle with Presley Freeman, who ends up throwing Whitaker to the ground. Nice legal physical play. But nevertheless, TCU still with the possession in their own defensive half. It's going to be Plashko. Plashko launching this ball across the pitch. Instead, it's going to find the foot of Ella Rustin. Ella Rustin, who's now pushing down the left-hand side into TCU. Plays it short with Mika Cromenhoek. Cromenhoek now playing with Freeman off that right-handed side. Krummenhoek making a nice run to make herself available, still off that right-handed side. Krummenhoek maintaining possession, tries to play a short 1-2 with Stringfellow. TCU recovering, and now it's a ball with Steven Castaigne up the pitch. Steven Castaigne playing Patton off the right-hand side against
nice tackle.
The BYU defender, and Ella Rustin, who takes a nice slide tackle that sort of served like a through ball to her teammate, but TCU is going to cover very well with Imathan. Imathan trying to play back with Patton. Very dangerous play as BYU had a great press there. Nice recovery from who seems to be Castaigne here in the back. Castaigne now pushing up the middle of the field. Playing that ball wide to Whitaker. Whitaker finding pressure from Stringfellow. Has to play that ball back with Mooney. Mooney who tries to play it over at Whitaker, but instead Stringfellow is going to recover for the Cougars. Stringfellow trying to play that ball back to Frischknecht. Recovered by Kelly. Kelly who tries to play it to her teammate. Instead, the ball goes out for a BYU throw-in, still in their own half. As the ball is now pushed up the field, and it's with Sierra Pennick. Sierra Pennick finds Krummenhoek in the middle. Now plays it wide with Stringfellow on that right-hand side. Stringfellow trying to let a cross inside, a pass inside the box down that right-hand side is rejected by TCU, and there's going to be 30 seconds left in this first half.
BYU turning up the pressure here in this last 30 seconds. They probably got one more chance in them for this half. Let's see if they can make the most of it and try to equalize just before halftime for a half when they've led for most of it and feel like they played very well, probably deserve to be in the lead.
Krummenhoek with a wasted opportunity. Tries to let a left-footed cross inside the box. Has too much power, and nobody was really inside that box. It goes out for a TCU goal kick. And there's going to be a substitution here for TCU. Coming off the pitch is Jordan Whitaker, and coming on the pitch is Sarah Melcher. But that doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen. First half now over from CPKC Stadium, where the TCU Horned Frogs currently lead this game 2-1 against the Brigham Young Cougars.
It's simple, Joao. It's greatness. I mean, great teams rely on great plays from great players, and we saw that in the first half. It's just an exceptional run from Patton on two separate occasions on the right-hand side, putting a great ball into the box for Kelly to deposit, who, again, made all-conference first team. She doesn't really start, Joao. She kind of comes off the bench every single game, and she still made all-conference first team. That's how good she is. We also saw Castaigne get her name on the score sheet for the second game in a row. She had the game-winning penalty kick last time out against Colorado. This BYU team, talented, aggressive, going to have to do a little bit of soul searching, but they are by no means out of this game, down 2-1, heading into the dressing rooms with another 45 minutes at least of soccer to be played as the day turns into night here at CPKC Stadium. I think we're in for a great second half.
Now let's go over some stats real quick before we end up going off to break. The BYU Cougars had 7 shots, 3 shots on target, 2 saves, 5 fouls, 3 corners, and were marked offsides once. The TCU Horned Frogs had 8 shots, 4 on target, 2 saves from Plasko, 6 fouls, 4 corners, and haven't been marked offsides yet. Ladies and gentlemen, TCU currently leading this game 2-1 once again against BYU. We will be right back after the short break.
I thought I released a good album until Naughty Step said it was bad.
I hear this project and I am frustrated.
I better listen to Blaze Radio.
Hi, I'm Pedro. Did you know you can listen to anything? Blaze Radio says you can, and so do I. I believe that until listened to, every song, album, EP, and DJ set is hot until proven otherwise.
And that's why I fight for you, headbangers. Hot FM.
Hot FM on Blaze Radio. Listen live every Monday at 11 a.m. on blazeradioonline.com. That's blazeradioonline.com.
Is what I wanted, is what I've been waiting for these cars to come off of this corner. And guys, it's showtime. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing today, boys.
Are you a racing fan or want to learn more about the sport? Join Cooper Burns and Eric List every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Blaze Radio as they discuss everything from NASCAR to dirt racing and more on Fuel for Thought.
How to throw a football.
Hike.
How to hit a baseball off a bat. how to make a basketball go through the hoop and make that swish sound. These are all questions we wonder when we are learning how to play a sport. But have you ever wondered what it may be like to interview someone who is in the sports industry? Like, how do I become a broadcaster? How do I become a graphic designer? How do I become a public address announcer? It's all here. How to Sports, your go-to sports industry leading show here on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. with Ryan Pesesnik, Max Williams, and Tyler Wargo. How to Sports. It's in the game.
Grab your mates and join us for the finest sports show on Blaze Radio, The Irish Hello. With the wisdom of the Irish duo, you'll have the knowledge of old pals at the pub, sharing each and every moment. Join Aidan O'Neill and Shay Maloney every Wednesday night from 8:30 to 9:30 for breakdowns of sports news across the world as a pot of gold awaits.
Welcome to 4 on 4, where we have all 4 experts on the 4 major sports. Join Sammy Newt, Dylan Wickman, Justin DeHaas, and Sean Brennan on Blaze Radio as they break down an exciting semester of sports that includes the MLB postseason, top NFL storylines, the biggest offseason news from the NBA and NHL, and anything relevant happening in the sports world. At the end of the day, we're just 4 roommates that love to talk sports, so join the conversation. Listen live on BlazeRadioOnline.com every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Arizona time, or if you missed us, check us out on Spotify, where you can hear all of our shows.
Hi, I'm Casey McNulty.
And I'm Brooklyn Cohen.
And welcome to The Hot Seat, where each week we answer your burning sports questions. Want to hear us settle sports debates and talk about our biggest takes in the sports world? Well, we've got you covered.
As 2 former athletes and current sports journalists, we offer the perspective of what it's like to be on the field or court
or pool.
So tune in every week at 10 a.m. on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
See you in the hot seat.
Coming this fall, Friday Night Lights Camera Action, Blaze Radio's premier sports movie talk show returns.
There's no crying in Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
If you ain't first, then watch Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
Guys, there are rich teams and there are poor teams. And then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's people who don't watch Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
Remember the time Friday Night Lights Camera Action showed up at halftime and Blaze Radio won the Bourbon Bowl? Friday Night Lights Camera Action, Friday starting at 9 p.m. Arizona time on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Now go out there and take it.
What's up, everyone? Life is confusing, so I, Natalia Marin, have decided to answer some of life's wonders, asking the question, does it work? AKA the name of my new show, Does It Work? Will have fun conversations featuring my hours of research, evaluating if cultural phenomenons, government systems, and psychological theories actually work. Make sure to listen live every Monday at 9 a.m. on BlazeRadioOnline.com to see, if it works.
Just a music show on Tuesdays from 3:30 to 4:30. A show about sampling. Hosted by a city boy named Shane Saya. Talking about free samples.
Ever feel like you don't quite fit the mold?
A Little Unorthodox breaks it completely.
Join us as we dive into the messy intersections of faith, identity, and culture with stories that don't always follow the rules.
From in-depth interviews
to live event coverage,
we're here to explore what it really means to belong or not.
Join us, Emily Fox-Millian
and Abe Mogelson,
on Sunday at 11 a.m.
Because sometimes the best way to make sense of it all is by getting a little unorthodox.
Yes, sir. Nah, I'm hearing what you're saying, but what's your take though? Yeah, he's cool, but Heisman? That team don't got nobody on there who could shoot any type of threes. I'm supposed to believe they're a playoff team? You're not answering the question. The question is, who is the better football team right now? Hey, I like that take right there. And it's not even close. What are we talking about? There's no midfielder as naturally talented as him in the last 20 years. Tune in to Let's Talk Takes every week, hosted by me, Devin Henderson, where I bring in different guests each week and we debate the most pressing topics in a variety of sports. I'm talking NFL, NBA, college basketball, college football. We even gonna talk about some soccer. Tune in every week, Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. right here on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Hey, it's me again. It's your good friend, Max Cepeda. And the only guarantee I can give you is this. Any Tuesday night, anything can happen.
God, you're so good at interviewing, Max. Jeez, someone give him an award.
It ain't about the game, it's about the game. You feel me, Max?
That's no,
it ain't about the game, it's about the game.
She decided she was too good for Disney, and I was like,
she wins no matter what. Taylor
crazy.
Swift is always right.
Blaze Radio presents The World According to Zippy, Season 3. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. only on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, why are you crying?
Charlie Blackmon's gone!
What do you mean Charlie Blackmon's gone? You got Zach Veen that will be ready to be called up in center field.
Who's Zach Veen?
You get to hear all about Zach Veen every Monday from 8 to 9 on Up on Deck on Blaze Radio.
Every Monday, baby!
The following is the Fatal 4-Way Podcast, and it is scheduled for one fall.
Join Luke Carter, Justin Lacertosa, Luca Lindo, and Dylan Oliver every Monday from 4 to 4:30, where we talk about all the high-flying, table smashing, eyebrow raising, limousine riding action, and professional wrestling.
Welcome to your favorite show where everything is untitled, unscripted, and unhinged.
Us Podsmiths and Yes Podsmiths are what professional podcasters are called. Let's just say we're your favorite Podsmiths.
On our show, we discuss a variety of different topics and segments, from the latest news to your favorite tunes.
And it's not just us. Every week we bring in a special guest to shake things up.
So join me, CJ Stevenson,
and me, Kate Nakamura, every Monday at 4:30 p.m. on Blaze Radio.
Heya! Want to stay up to date with what's up in the gaming industry? Want to listen to a girl yap about her gaming opinions and hot takes? Then tune in Wednesdays at 4 p.m. for Power Up on BlazeRadioOnline.com to join me, Chaz Alvin, as I walk you through the latest and greatest in gaming news, from PC to console, from indie to AAA, while also discussing what makes video games such an interesting and engaging art form. See you then!
We listen to the show for magic. We listen to the A-list to rant, to laugh, to argue, because we need that, all of us.
That indescribable feeling we get when the on-air sign lights up and we review movies you've probably seen before.
Not just entertained, but somehow informed. Much more than new. 12 noon, every single Tuesday.
Somehow, from Larissa, Gibbs, Zach, and Spencer, our show feels like you're talking to the 4 worst people you know. Because here, you are.
The A-List. We make movies worse.
Howdy everyone, it's Jack Footer, aka JFoo, and I'm here to let you know the JFoo Show is back. Every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, I'll be playing you fantastic tunes from the JFoo theme of the week to get your Sunday fun day off and rolling and make you feel good. So tune in to the JFoo Show every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock right here on Blaze Radio, streaming exclusively at BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Do you ever wonder what the backstory is behind some of your favorite songs? Where do artists get their inspiration from? Hi, my name is Nicola Hendro.
And I'm Brooklyn Cohen, and welcome to Inspired. On Inspired, we will be sharing some of the fun facts behind the iconic songs you know and love.
Tune into Inspired on Blaze Radio at BlazeRadioOnline.com every Monday at 10 a.m. Arizona time as we break down the inspiration behind the iconic lyrics.
Get inspired!
Hey guys, we're Liv and Maddie.
And this is our specialty show, Out of Tune, on Blaze Radio.
If you listen to music, we like to talk about it. Tune in for live concert coverage and ticket giveaways.
On Mondays at 2:30 to 3.
Tune in!
We were just a couple of posers with guitars. They were always out of tune.
Do you like Philadelphia sports?
Do you think Tanner McKee is the best third-string quarterback in the NFL?
Does Nate Gary bring up bad memories?
Is the Philly Fanatic the best mascot in sports?
Then you should tune in to Philly Out West on Blaze Radio, the show about all things Philly sports based in Phoenix.
Jack Hartsonis and Charlie Limoncelli cover all the details of Philadelphia sports every Thursday night at 8 p.m. MST.
That's Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, and all the latest Philly news and culture.
We're bringing Philly to the desert.
The rise and fall of the Persian Empire, the history of shoelaces, the anatomy of a jellyfish, the difference between Portuguese and Portugal and Brazil. Have you ever wanted to take a deep dive on a topic like one of these, but just couldn't find the time or the means to do so? Hi, I'm DJ King, and on my show, The Depths of Knowledge, I do a deep dive on similar topics every Monday from 3:30 to 4. So if you want to know more about the world around you, come join me in exploring the depths.
Hey everyone, it's Alex Swift from Park the Bus.
And as we say now in my country, they brought the bus and they left the bus in front of the goal.
If you want to stay updated with the world of soccer or hear 3 Arsenal fans tell you why we're better than Spurs,
but Tottenham is the history of the Tottenham.
Come check out Park the Bus with me, Alex Swift, Alexander McDonald, and Bob Blue, Tuesdays 9 to 10 a.m. at blazeradioonline.com.
All right. Here we go, guys and gals. And boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, drivers.
Race to blazeradioonline.com every Tuesday at 9:30 Arizona time for an hour of motorsports madness.
Join myself, Andrew Hazlett, and my co-host Ethan Ignatowski for the Loose Wheel Show. We'll tell you everything you need to know for the upcoming race week.
From news to predictions, we have you covered, so make sure to tune in.
Tyler Bednar, wake up. What time is it? It's bedtime. Okay, then why are you waking me up? No, it's time for It's Bedtime. It's a specialty show on Blaze Radio. That sounds cool. When does it air and what do you talk about? The show takes place every Wednesday from 11 to 11:30 p.m. I recap the past week of sports with special guests. That sounds awesome, Tyler. I'm going to start tuning in on blazeradioonline.com.
I thought I released a good album until Naughty Step said it was bad.
I hear this project and I am frustrated.
I better listen to Blaze Radio.
Hi, I'm Pedro. Did you know you can listen to anything? Blaze Radio says you can, and so do I. I believe that until listened to, every song, album, EP, and DJ set is hot until proven otherwise. And that's why I fight for you, headbangers. Hot FM. Hot FM on Blaze Radio. Listen live every Monday at 11 a.m. on blazeradioonline.com. That's blazeradioonline.com.
This is what I wanted. It's what I've been waiting for these cars to come off of this corner. And guys, it's showtime. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing today, boys.
Are you a racing fan or want to learn more about the sport? Join Cooper Burns and Eric List every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Blaze Radio as they discuss everything from NASCAR to dirt racing and more on Fuel for Thought.
Back with you here at CPKC Stadium on the banks of the Missouri River, now shrouded in darkness as the sun has set here in Kansas City, Missouri. We are mere seconds away from resuming what has been a thrilling semifinal match so far between the 1-seeded TCU Horned Frogs and the 4-seeded BYU Cougars. I'm Luke Leonard, joined by Zhao Lara Zhao with just 5 seconds before the kickoff of the second half. How do you react to the first half, and what can these teams do in the second half to each find victory?
Like, TCU was very patient in their build-up. At first, you know, they had some opportunities, but they didn't really go through as they wanted them to. BYU has held a great defensive position. Really, they just need to keep on playing on that counterattack. But really, an exciting first half, and I'm excited to see what happens in the second half.
Half begins with some TCU possession in their defensive half as Patton will send it up looking for Castaigne. Castaigne with it now back at the feet of Hennessy. Hennessy working towards the middle of the field. Still batted around now, and will find the feet of Brown. Brown tries to switch the field, finds Mooney. Mooney, the left center back, member of the two center back partnership with Imathune that has defined this TCU defense. It's just been excellent for the Horned Frogs all season in Big 12 play and here in the postseason. It's back with Mooney now. She sends it up ahead, trying to look for Castaigne. Takes a heavy touch, a little bit shy of her sideline. It'll be batted around and knocked out of bounds. It'll be a BYU throw-in near half field with 44-13 left in this one. Joao, BYU scored first, but then conceded twice towards the end of the first half to a couple nice TCU crosses. What do the Cougars have to do to get themselves back on the score sheet here?
Look, they have to be intelligent with the way they manage the ball. They received the ball in many positions, in many great offensive positions in the first half. They just didn't take advantage of them.
Vance with it now, building up on the edge of the 18. She tries to send one into the box. It'll be a shot from distance, but it'll be collected calmly by Megan Plashko, and what will be her fourth save of the game for the Horned Frogs. She's done well in net back there so far tonight. She's kind of been the steady presence, save from an early goal, that Coach Eric Bell would love for his team to just kind of hold for the rest of the second half. Trying to build up from the back here. There's a clash of bodies, but no foul. It'll fall to be TCU ball as their attack crosses half field. Now pulls it back into their defensive half as the Horned Frogs are going to try to build it up. It's at the feet here of Pena. She looks, she finds Castaigne. Castaigne looking for options. She gets switch the field, and she does. It'll dribble over to the feet of Patton. Patton, the assister of twice in the first half. 2 goals for TCU. Both kind of created off her runs down that right flank that she swung into the box and got 2 nice finishes from her teammates to put the Horned Frogs up 2-1. We're past 43 minutes left as Patton gets it back to Imathune, who will get it over to Mooney, who now is in the center of the pitch in her defensive third, working to the opposite side.
And really, BYU has to try to win this game and has to try to take a lunge to take control of this game. They have a lot to prove here. TCU, even losing this game, they'd probably still qualify for the NCAA tournament.
TCU now bringing up its Diorio, kind of chopping her way into the box. Now on the edge of the 18, tries one, but it's just a little bit wide. Diorio with a nice left foot to right foot shot move, almost like a crossover in basketball. Separated a little bit of a space from her defender and tried one from distance, but it drifted just wide for the Big 12 forward of the year, who's now looking for a goal in this Big 12 semifinal. She did not score in the first half. Not scoring in the first game for BYU. She's going to have to, really make her presence felt in this tournament if she wants to guide her Horned Frogs to a Big 12 tournament victory.
And really, as soon as the Horned Frogs got their footing in this game too, it's been up and down. They've had a great defensive position as there's a referee interference here, BYU ball. But TCU is on a 13-game unbeaten streak. They have 7 games won in a row, and they're trying to, get They're trying to get a Big 12 championship win, as their last one was in 2021.
Turnover here is now Payne is going to lead this TCU attack. She now operates her way into the middle of the pitch, swings it out wide. It'll fall to Hennessy. Hennessy chops inside. It's on her left foot. She could try it, hesitating, looking for options down that opposite side. Will take it back on her right foot, and it's tackled from behind cleanly. A nice play there by Cromanhook. She'll send it up ahead, and the ball goes bouncing in the direction of Fryer, finds her feet, but they're going to say she was offsides. And that'll cancel out that BYU attack. Still some early pressure from the Cougars, Joao. How do they build on this and find a goal in the second half?
Really, it's just finding the mistakes that TCU makes in the back. We saw quite a few of them in this first half, and really they just have to take advantage of that.
Now back with BYU, it'll be Vance trying to build it up. She'll look for Cromanhook and find her. Cromanhook plays it out wide, just trying to get to the feet of her teammate. That was Ella Rustin, but it's just a little bit wide. The ball will go out of bounds. It'll be a TCU throw at where the halfway line meets the touch line. Patton gets it down, trying to find Hennessy. Hennessy puts it to Brown in the middle of the field. Now she operates, kind of patrolling the edge of that BYU defending third, that TCU attacking third, as they swing it out wide now. Now forward, here's Diorio. She's deep towards the corner flag, tries to save the long through ball, but it goes off her boot and out of bounds. It'll be a BYU goal kick. It'll be up to Lynette Hernandez to distribute here from the edge of her 6-yard box.
And BYU needs to find a way to contain those wings. Whether it's a midfielder coming down and adding additional pressure, you can't leave Castaigne and you can't leave Diorio one-on-one, because they're starting a gain momentum here, and when they have it, you can't stop them down those wings.
Matt and Summers looking for an option up the field, kind of just finds nobody. It'll trickle to the feet of Brown here. She's operating just outside the center circle. She'll get it back. Imathune now. Imathune facing pressure here from Fryer in this BYU attacking trio that's done well to pressure the ball all season. Trying to push it up ahead and over this attacking trio of pressure seems to be Hennessy. It'll just careen off the shoulder of Vance and go out of bounds. It'll be TCU throw. TCU throws it up ahead, trying to find Castaigne, but a nice piece of defending there. And a couple exchanges of elbows. They're going to say, the referee asking for a pause. He's going to talk to both players. Could we see a card here? There's a physical exchange there between Ella Rustin and Seven Castaigne. Castaigne got her name on the score sheet in the first half, scoring the second goal for TCU that gave them the lead. 39-16 left in regulation in this one. TCU 2, BYU 1. As standing over the ball here, Matt and Summers going to try to push it up ahead for BYU. She swings into the box. It goes hurtling towards the penalty spot, but nobody really there. It'll be collected calmly by Megan Plashko, and the keeper will look for options down the field, still just holding the ball.
BYU needs to be more responsible with that ball. I understand you're trying to look for a play that can get you a great opportunity, but take your time, be patient, similar to what TCU was facing in this first half.
Fryer and really Aaron Bailey leading the charge in terms of pressure on the TCU back line for the BYU Cougars. They're doing well so far. You got to think they'll force a turnover soon, but it's still BYU build up here. Getting up to what seems to be Hennessy. She's looking for options, runners in the channels. So she'll switch the field. It could find the feet of Diorio on the far side, and it does. Here's Diorio operating on the edge of the 18. Takes a big touch towards the end line. Puts one in the box. It's there for Castaigne, but it's just a little bit long. Heavy touch from Castaigne. It'll fall. Here comes Cromanhook. She's trying to work her way down. The freshman had 2 assists last game. She's going to try to get her name back on that assist sheet tonight. Swings it out wide. Here's Aaron Bailey with it. She's operating kind of at the elbow of the 18. Tries to put one in the box, but it's a little bit low and a little bit heavy. And it'll be fallen on by Megan Plashko, the keeper for the Horned Frogs. She'll swallow up the ball and just kind of dribble it, standing, trying to kill a little bit of time on the edge of the 6. Gives it to Mooney. Mooney now pushing out wide. Here's Whiteker with it. Whiteker not getting a lot of action in the quarterfinal game against Colorado, but she's been on the pitch for most of the game so far tonight. What are you liking? Are you liking what you're seeing so far from her, Joao?
I think she has had explosive play and really just needs to step up a little bit and possibly, create a great impact for her squad.
Here's Cromanhook now with it. She's trying to look to distribute. She tries, but it's intercepted. A nice play there made by Hennessy. Hennessy with a little hesitation move, and now she bursts into space. It's a 3-on-3 for TCU. They're attacking. Cromanhook trying to defend from behind. She can't get there in time as Hennessy's pass is heavy and booted out of bounds. That was a nice play there by Matt and Summers, the sophomore defender for the BYU Cougars. She puts out of bounds. It'll be a TCU throw-in on the edge of the attacking third for them. Patton gets it to Hennessy, who settles the ball down, tries to put it in the middle of the field. It's batted around a couple times, but it's taken ultimately by Imathune, who will retreat back to her defensive half. Gets on the feet of Brown, just on the edge of the center circle. Brown will send it backwards, now parallel to Summers, who looks up ahead, trying to find options. It's deflected a couple times, out of bounds. They're going to say off of TCU. It'll be a BYU throw-in.
And BYU, just little by little needs to try to find their footing here. They haven't been as aggressive as in the first half, and TCU little by little is starting to gain more possession. They're starting to cover the ball and really just find more BYU mistakes that weren't evident in the first half.
BYU being slightly less clinical with their passing, and TCU taking advantage as we see an interception by Brown as if on cue. Now sends it out wide. Whiteker looking for an opportunity up the field. She doesn't. She passes back to the middle, and it's settled at the feet. Here now pushing up ahead, looking for options of the Horned Frogs. It's at the feet of Patton on the right side. She could be dangerous from here. 2 assists already. She's looking for a third. Patton takes a couple moves now, chops it inside. She's at the middle of the box trying to play an attacker through. She can't find the feet of Seven Castaigne, who she's already assisted once tonight. It'll be cleared out by the BYU defenders, and it'll come to the feet of Whiteker on that far side as BYU's trying to attack left to right. Whiteker now sends it up ahead. Here's at the feet of Hennessy. It's poked away. Nice move there I believe that was Fryer for BYU making a nice defensive track back as it's kicked out of bounds by none other than Jordan Weicker. It'll be a BYU throw-in from the edge of their defending third. TCU not tracking a lot of bodies back, letting to keep that pressure high for the Horned Frogs, as both these teams are going to look for one more goal to potentially alter the ending of this match.
And really, that's been the shift in the match. BYU was playing that high pressure in the first half. TCU now, taking over that role. And it's worked out for them. They're starting to recover the ball in places that they didn't in the first half, and really that's what's allowing them to just get over BYU.
Brown builds it up ahead, takes a couple deflections, now swings wide to Patton. Patton trying to play an attacker through. She does. She finds the feet of, that seems to be Hennessy. Hennessy looking for somebody, now gets Pena in the middle of the box, just on the edge of the D. Pena back to goal, will play it out wide. It's with Weicker. Weicker on the edge of the 18th, pass in, takes a couple deflections, and then ends up at the feet of a BYU attacker. She'll push forward and then go to ground. They're going to say a foul and a potential card here. Yes, the ref will reach him in his pocket and issue a yellow card on possibly Diorio. Didn't call the Horned Frog over to have the conversation. They're going to say that was a foul committed by Diorio on Addie Gardner.
And the yellow card is really just because she's stopping a promising play. BYU had the numbers up top to start a counterattack, but very smart foul from Diorio. And really, it's TCU's playing their cards correctly, and these little actions are why so far.
Diorio not afraid to mix it up as an attacker, but she, can kind of afford a yellow card. She won't be defending for much of the game, especially if TCU can keep holding possession. A nice in and out move by Hennessy. She pushes towards open space, but she's met with a defender. The ref will say a foul that was on, it seems to be Ella Rustin, who was holding Hennessy back from pushing forward into that space. So it'll be a free kick from, you could say, about, the middle, maybe the edge of the attacking third. So BYU is going to have to defend this here as TCU has an opportunity to lift the ball in towards the box and potentially get what could be a dagger goal here with 34:05 left in this half, where the Horned Frogs lead the Cougars 2-1 at CPKC Stadium. The ball is swung into the box and floated towards the back post, takes a couple deflections, but it'll fall to the feet of Fryer. Fryer tries to push it up ahead. It's now with Gardner. Gardner trying to push it out wide, but it takes a deflection, is now finding the feet of Hennessy. Hennessy looking for runs, not getting them, trying to play Patton through. It's successful. Patton's here, just off the edge of the touchline on the end of the 18. She takes a couple steps, takes a couple step overs, and now cuts towards the end line. A missed slide by Rustin. Patton will loft one into the box, but it's a nice, collected, calm save from Lena Hernandez, as cool as you'd like for the BYU keeper.
And really, being explosive has been the name of the game for TCU. Whether it's been Ollie Pena in the middle finding spaces, whether it's been AJ Hennessy who's been pushing up the pitch, or Patton or Diorio out on the wings, this TCU squad has been able to be very evasive from the BYU defense, and it's been thanks to being explosive, little moves that just gives them the edge against BYU.
And honestly, just from my perspective, it seems like BYU's lost a little bit of life here. Still playing a little bit aggressive, but not as aggressive. They're being quite sloppy with their passes, and they're kind of giving TCU a lot of extra possession that they might not want to have.
And it's just, especially that second goal, I mean, it was just like a cold bucket of water over their heads. They weren't really expecting it, and after being in control for the majority of the first half, it's just so difficult to try to come back and adapt against a squad that's just going to keep on attacking at you.
Nice wide pass to Diorio by way of Pena. She swings down low. Weicker trying to put it in the box, but it's collected nicely by Frischnick. She's going to take it forward and try to push it up ahead, but there's really just nobody home for the Cougars. Collected by Brown. Now back to Pena, and TCU suddenly in the attacking third again. Hennessy now pumps twice. Now tries from the edge of the box, but it's deflected. Couple pump fakes of shots there for Hennessy, ultimately just finding the shin pad of a defender. Still lofted high, ball still bubbling around back there on the edge of the attacking third. It'll be out of bounds. They're going to say last touch by a Horned Frog, perhaps, as we're going to get a substitution. Caroline Kelly will come on the pitch. She will take off Seven Castaigne, and those are the two goal scorers exchanging a high five and a place on the pitch. Kelly opened the scoring for TCU with her 12th goal of the season for the Horned Frogs. Castaigne put them up 2-1. What can we expect from Kelly here in the second half?
Same thing, being explosive. She can create space, and if she can get a good shot off that right foot, you better hope and pray it's not on target, because it's most likely going to be a goal. No offense to Hernandez, but that's how accurate Caroline Kelly has been this season, and really she's been a key player for TCU coming off the bench.
Clock continuing to tick away here. We're at 31:18 left in this one. TCU leading BYU 2-1. in a battle of two top 4 seeds here in CPKC Stadium on the banks of the Missouri River in Kansas City. TCU building up from the back. It's at the feet now of Plashko. She could look for Imethune, and she finds her. Imethune taking a nice controlled touch, now puts it up ahead. Looking for more options. Now it's found to Patton. Patton will try to swing it up ahead, takes deflection. Rustin controls it, keeps it in play. No, she doesn't, rather. She kicks it just over the line, out of bounds. So it'll be a TCU throw. It'll be Patton to take it. She looks up ahead, trying to find Kelly. Rustin doing her best to clear it. Can't clear it successfully. Takes a couple deflections. Now back to the feet of Rustin. She looks for Vance. And Vance's pass finds the feet of who else but Addie Gardner, who's been very active in the second half for BYU. Gardner with it now, playing a holding midfielder role for the Cougars. She finds Rustin. Rustin gets it to Vance. Vance looking for options, but Vance's touch is a little bit too heavy, and it's controlled nicely by TCU as now they push into the attacking half. Pena trying to play Kelly through, but Kelly wasn't really expecting it, and the ball is weighted pretty heavily. So that'll be Summers to control it and kick it back towards her goal. What would have been a risky move if TCU had pressure is just not risky at all because of a lack of TCU bodies up front. So it'll be Frischnick now, swinging it out wide. BYU trying to just get a good shot, really just a good chance. They haven't really gotten one yet in the second half.
And here's the thing, too. Fatigue eventually here in these last 29 minutes is going to start playing a key factor in this game. Both sides had 8 players who played a full 45, and at such a high level, at some point, you have to expect for it to deteriorate.
A foul there. They're going to say it was on Rustin. Hennessy complaining it should have been a card. Rustin kind of throwing her hands up. Like, what do you want me to do there? You know, we're two of us kind of tangled up on the near the sideline. Rustin's is going to be physical, and there's kind of nothing wrong with that. Putting Hennessy on the ground, getting a foul call, but not a card. It's with Hennessy now. She finds Kelly. Kelly with her back to goal, about 35 yards out, gets it back to Hennessy. Hennessy to Patton. Patton trying to work it into the middle of the field, but she turns it over. Here's Kromenuk with it. 2 assists last game. Trying to put her name on that assist sheet once again. Vance trying to put it in the middle of the field, but a nice deflection ends up falling to the feet of Kelly. Kelly pushes into the BYU defending third. Now she's on the edge of the 18. Kelly takes a step inside, now outside. Looking for options. Is sealed off nicely. Plays it back. Here's Pena. Pena dribbles outside the 18 and then finds the feet of Hennessy. Hennessy will cut towards the end line on the edge of the 18. Here's Kelly with it. Deflection. Nice one there by Vance. Pushed up ahead, trying to find the feet of Fryer, but it's just a little bit too wide. Fryer's going to give chase, though, but Patton's going to get there first for the Horned Frogs. She sends it back towards Plashko. Plashko, who calmly sends it towards the halfway line. It's controlled nicely, and here come the Horned Frogs. Good piece of defending there from TCU to push the ball back into BYU territory.
And really, these last couple plays for BYU have been an example of what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. That continuous press on defense, it's worked out so far, and they should continue doing it. They've recovered the ball in many ways and forms. But on offense, they're just impatient with the ball. And not only that, they're not being efficient with the ball. They're holding the ball too long, and whenever they're you know, trying to find the target and they don't find anybody, it just ends up being blasted down the pitch or really just hit off of a TCU defender.
We're going to see the ref go to his book for the second time to call a yellow card on Ella Rustin. She was getting physical there with Hennessy, shoving her down. Really no intent made for the ball. Rustin, probably just like all BYU players, getting a little bit frustrated by their lack of opportunities here now with 28:05 left in this half at TCU 2, BYU 1 at CPKC Stadium. But that's going to be a yellow card for Rustin. You know, she's a physical player. She's gotten like 2 of those so far this season, so this is her 3rd. But BYU, I agree with what you're saying. They're very impatient on offense. They're not taking their time. They're not trying to just build it up, hold possession, and just get control back. Feels like they're kind of chasing this game, but more than they would like to be down 2-1.
And then in the middle, really, for BYU, where it's gone wrong is they're not attempting to even feint. They're not attempting to create a space. All you need is a simple ball movement, and you have a whole patch of green to rely on and to use. And don't be afraid to play back. They're focusing on playing forward so much that they're not using their weapons in the back too. That can be essential to drive a long ball over. If not, you know, play simple passes that can start a counterattack.
TCU, not the team you can just outpace, outmuscle, and outskill like BYU's kind of had their way with teams kind of on the lower end of the Big 12 table so far this season. TCU, the #1 seed in the conference for a reason. As bodies collide on the edge of the 18, referee says no foul. TCU bench hopping mad over that one as the through ball is played in the direction of Kromenuk, but now the referee will stop play for what seems to be an apparent injury. No foul is going to be called, but Kelly went down injured.
Kelly did receive a slight contact there, she was really grabbing at her rib for a second, and really, it looked bad for a second. Referee now asking for the ball, but not enough to be called a foul.
Not enough to be called a foul. Kelly upset. BYU a little bit set that their attack was canceled out, but Kelly coming in with revenge here. She knocks Rust into the ground. BYU's asking for a foul, but the ref says no. That was kind of just retaliation. And now it's swung to the middle of the field, just on the edge of the center circle. Now pushed back towards the edge of the 18. This game getting physical pretty quickly, Joao?
As a physical player myself, I used to hate those type of plays. You knock somebody down to the ground with, physical game that's totally legal, and then you feel those little footsteps coming up right behind you, seeking revenge there. And that's really what Caroline Kelly did on that play.
It feels like to me, BYU just getting impatient as there's a nice through ball, great pass by Pena. Diorio's through on goal. She's got nobody to beat, but it's batted around loose and a nice save made by Hernez. It'll be BYU control. That was the best chance of the second half yet for either team, but a good close-off made by Hernez to seal the angle for Diorio, stretch her gloves out wide, and push the Big 12 forward of the year, goalless continually in this Big 12 tournament. BYU bench urging on the counterattack as a foul is called. Pena, they're going to say, just clipped the boots as they're going to go to VAR to look at a potential penalty, it seems, in the box. Diorio with a nice run in behind, but an even better, just beautifully weighted ball by Pena to find Diorio, who attacked towards the goalkeeper, took a touch around Hernez, but I don't think that's a foul. They just showed him the Jumbotron. That doesn't look like a penalty much to me.
No.
Good on the ref to check it, but that just looks like, natural contact, especially given what he's let go so far today.
And then really just the amount of inertia, too, that Diorio has on that play. Tries to get wide. Those plays are very similar, but I think Hernez did a good job in keeping and standing her ground there. Very similar to a Manuel Neuer, Guillermo Ochoa-esque one-on-one play where she's going to stand her ground. She's going to try to get out for the ball. Doesn't necessarily get a touch on the ball, but I don't think she goes for the defender either because her hands are in a position trying to grasp at the ball.
Yeah, referee's going to come out and say no penalty. It's kind of what we expected. As we're going to check in with you here, 26-11 left in the second half here. TCU 2, BYU 1. You're listening on Blaze Radio. My name, Luke Lindler. His name, Joao Lara. Happy to be talking to you tonight on this crisp fall, but yet very nice night here in Kansas City, Missouri. It's been a pretty good match so far. These two teams both top 4 in the Big 12 based on their seeding, and they're playing like it. We're seeing a lot of attack and quality going forward. BYU, though, searching for that equalizer with just 26-11 left in the half, as Frischnick stands over the ball. We'll head it up ahead. Here's now operating with it is Gardner. Gardner pushed towards the middle of the field. She finds the feet. That was a nice build up there. Bailey with her back to goal on the edge of the 18. Swings that right. Kromenhoek trying to attack. She attacks towards the end line. Going to try to put a ball in the box. She's sent to ground. The referee is going to jog over, say no penalty, and rather a goal kick for TCU. Joao, I noticed you've been getting anime with your hands there. Did you like that build up?
Yes, that build up was really good, and it was finally something that BYU could find. Really nice intuitive play from Gardner to push down the middle of the field where she had all the space in the world. Gave a good ball to Bailey, and it's just nice physical play from TCU to cut off. But BYU finally showing signs of life here in the second half. And it's really little by little, and all you need is a play. This tournament is so unpredictable. All you need is one play, and that can change the scope of the game overall.
One swing of the leg could equalize this for BYU or potentially put this out of reach for TCU as they look to move on to the Big 12 final. The Horned Frogs making the Big 12 tournament every year that they've been in the conference. They won it 3 years ago, trying to win it again.
And really for this BYU squad, you were ranked number 1 before the beginning of the season. You're not ranked right now by the U.S. coaches poll.
Lancaster on the edge of the box after a giveaway. She could have options in the middle. Tries to play it to him, but it's nicely poked away. Still loose on the edge of the box. Lancaster could have it. It's 1-on-3 for her. She ends up ceding control to a BYU defender who just sends it towards the halfway line. It's now built up, and the Horned Frogs will just pull it back out towards their goalkeeper, Plashko, and we'll build it up and try to push it forward. Here's Plashko looking for options up ahead. It's knocked up in the air rather than down. Takes one big bounce. Lucy Kessler will have it now. Her big touch is kind of in the direction of her own goal, but she controls it nicely. It's with Summers. Summers looking for options. She swings it out wide. Here come the Cougars. Potentially trying to play Fryer through. No, rather they get it to Kromenhoek. Kromenhoek trying to operate around her defender. She's pressed heavily by Brown. Brown doing well in her, guarding the good freshman all night. As it's played to Vance, who takes a bit of a heavy touch. Still BYU ball, though. They're maintaining possession for what feels like the first time this half as they push towards the TCU attacking third. Ball in the middle by Summers. It's just a little too low and kind of finding nobody. Controlled by Kelly. She'll push it to Patton. Patton will look up ahead and find Castaigne. Castaigne with a nice touch to control the ball. She now turns toward the sideline. Could play it back in the middle. She does. Here's Lancaster with it. Lancaster looking to switch the field, and she does. Puts it out wide. I see, Joel, you like that play. As it now falls to the feet of Whiteker, who's going to push it up ahead. Playing through is Kelly, but just a little bit too heavy for her. It's controlled by the Cougar defensive line as they push forward, but now the pass is just a little too sloppy and picked off by Pena. She finds Lancaster on the edge of the D. Playing Castaigne through, but the ball's a bit too heavy and will be scooped up. Nice play there by Lynette Hernandez.
Here's the thing. You're saying I'm liking these plays. Really, as a fan of the game, the way it's starting to build up, it's beautiful and it's amazing. And I don't want to be biased. I used to live 15 minutes from M&G Carter, TCU's football stadium, and I could definitely be like, oh yeah, Horned Frogs are totally dominating. But this game is starting to grow little by little. Once again, here with 22 minutes left, and as an avid enjoyer of the game, I mean, it's beautiful to see how high of a quality is being played here at CPKC.
Quality footy here tonight at CPKC Stadium with 22-28 left in regulation. TCU 2, BYU 1. But a chance here for the Cougars. It falls to the feet of Fryer. She tries one on net. It's just high and wide, but she was offsides regardless. That chance would not have stood. A good attack, though, for TCU. Kromenhoek got on the edge of the 18, turned, found Fryer. Fryer shot just a little bit wide, but encouragement shouted on from the BYU bench. The Cougars trying to get their way back into this game.
And this is similar to match day 2 with Texas Tech and Baylor. Texas Tech really took that advantage in the first half, and Baylor took the whole second half trying to get back up to equalize the game. Now, obviously, there's two different sides and two different levels between these sides, top-tier teams in the Big 12, but I feel like BYU is playing the same play that Baylor had and trying to get back little by little and growing as the second half is progressing. Hopefully they can get one back, not like Baylor.
Vance lays it off and then plays it nicely through. Here's Fryer with it. She's on the edge of the 18. Just one defender to beat, sends it in the middle of the box, takes the deflection, but it's controlled nicely. Good move there by Fryer, but even better control by the TCU defensive line as they continue to hold firm back there in front of their net. Played up ahead. Castaigne has it near the touchline. She dribbles out of bounds. It'll be a BYU throw-in. Another nice piece of defending there. Lauren Memely doing a pretty good job. Memely making her presence felt in this one as it's now at the feet of Kromenhoek. She's trying to work her way into the middle of the field. She does. Edge of the center circle. Now back with the Cougars, back with Kromenhoek. She's at the edge of the attacking third, trying to play one of her teammates through, but can't yet. There's an opportunity, and there it is, falling to the feet of Summers. Summers turns, looking for options. It's controlled and going on out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for TCU. Another nice piece of defending there. That time, Caroline Kelly tracking all the way back from her striker position to do a pretty nice piece of defending there. Shut down Presley Freeman trying to push forward.
Now, Evie Baker coming back onto the pitch. Coming off, it's going to go ahead and be number 13, Jordan Whiteker. Now, if I'm TCU, I know we've mentioned BYU a lot this game. Sorry, it's a little cold. TCU can't fall back. As soon as you fall back, as soon as you stop pressing, you give BYU an opportunity to build, and you give BYU an opportunity to equalize this game, and that's not what you want. Obviously, you can't press forever, but you had 4 or 5 substitutions if you're TCU in the first half. Why not utilize them and try to continue that high press to give your starters a break?
Freeman played through. She turns out in the middle of the box. Lays it off for Summers. A chance here. Takes a touch. Now tries one to the back of the net. It's poked around. Loose in the middle of the box. Still nobody controlling it, and now cleared out by TCU. Nice piece of defending from the Horned Frogs. Frischnick takes a big touch. Her clearance takes a deflection. Falls to the middle of the box, but again cleared by TCU. Off the back of Kelly, and Kelly now chance up the far sideline. Pushing just one defender to beat before she can maybe operate to the middle of the box. Tries to take a big touch. Still controlled. Spins towards the end line. Now spin towards the 6. She's at the edge of the sticks. Lays off the middle. Lancaster takes a touch. Looks. Fires. Deflection. Batted down and cleared out. Nice piece of defending there for BYU. Falls now to Brown. Brown plays it wide. TCU kind of avoiding what could have been big danger on the defensive end, turning it into a counterattack opportunity where now they just hold possession. Brown plays it back. Imathune with it. Imathune looking for options. She plays up ahead. Memeli, now her touch is a bit heavy, still finds the feet of Lancaster. Lancaster now to Pena. Pena plays to Kelly on the far side. Kelly cutting back into the box. On the edge of the attacking third, she just turns it over, passes it straight to the BYU defender. That's pushing up ahead. Here comes Gardner, trying to play Fryer through, but the ball's just a little too heavy. And it's batted around, taking Lancaster now with it. Brown pushing it out wide. Baker, Evie Baker. She'll send it back to Mooney. Mooney takes a touch, tries to send it up ahead to Lancaster. It finds her. Lancaster looking for options through. Nobody found yet. Plays it to Kelly. Kelly takes a touch to the edge of the attacking third for TCU, then just turns it over again. Now pushed forward. Here comes Gardner. Gets it to Cromanhook. Cromanhook being urged on from her bench. She now takes it wide, tries to take a big touch and operate her way around Brown, but a nice piece of defending there. Morgan Brown, the freshman from Wiley, Texas, got some freshman on freshman crime there with Cromanhook and Brown, but they're going to say it was off the Horned Frogs. Cromanhook's going to throw it in from about the edge of the attacking third. Sends it in, but it's just harmlessly rolled into the box as Mooney will take a touch and clear it towards the halfway line. Takes a couple deflections, but still controlled by the Cougars. Looking for options. Now they find Vance out wide. Here's Vance pushing up this near side on this left wing. Takes a touch, cuts to the middle of the box. Looking for a teammate. She finds one. Pratt with it. Pratt takes a touch. Now gets past. Now it's batted around and taken here. Vance. Vance gets it to Frischnick towards the halfway line. Frischnick plays it out wide. Heavy touch taken by Summers. She'll cut into the middle of the box. Freeman now tries from distance and a nice save made. Freeman took a big touch and then just unleashed from the edge of the D, but it wasn't too high or wide enough, and a nice save made there by Plashko, staying on her feet and controlling the ball with her hands.
With firm hands, that ball took a little bit of curve to the left. Now, if you're BYU, those are the type of opportunities you need. Now, going back to BYU also, if you're on the attack, play the ball through Cromanhook. Cromanhook, in moments where she's open, she's been able to really facilitate the ball to an open player, if not create opportunities on her own, and they need to start playing more towards her.
Frischnick stepping over, now trying to switch the field. She does successfully. Here forward, Kessler looking for an option in the box, takes a touch but stumbles on the ball to go out of bounds off her touched last, so it'll be a goal kick for the Horned Frogs. Inside of 17 minutes now, 16:23 and counting left in regulation of this one. BYU looking for an equalizer. It's the Horned Frogs of TCU 2 and the Cougars of BYU 1 with 16:16 left in the second half here at CPKC Stadium. Both teams on edge. It feels like this game's got one more goal left in it. It just depends which side is it going to come from. Plashko has the ball on the edge of her 6-yard box. Will wind up and just boot it towards the end line, trying to put the ball long. There's plenty of bodies down there for both teams. It'll be loose, deflected a couple times, and settled down by Lancaster. Lancaster's going to play Castaigne wide. Castaigne plays it back. Patton turns, takes a couple touches. Last touch by her. No, the ref's rather going to say a foul on Vance, or not give a foul, just say it was off Vance, but that was probably a foul. Ref just making up for it with the throw in.
And really, I can feel the energy up here. This game it's ecstatic. These benches just yelling, cheering on their teams, and letting the referee know their opinion when something happens on the pitch too. It's awesome the way this game is really bringing the whole stadium together. Whether it's TCU fans in the stands or BYU fans or even the benches.
Pennock on for Gardner for BYU. Meanwhile, Diorio is going to make appearance again. This time she'll take off Kelly. Ball still loose around the edge of the attacking third. They're going to say Lancaster got away with a tug. So it'll be a BYU free kick. Just off of a foul. Nothing in a dangerous position on the edge of their defending third. Looking to push the ball down the field. Summers standing over it. Runs at it a couple times. Hasn't made a decision yet. Runs at it again. Still hasn't made a decision. Now tries to loft it through in an attempt to play Pratt through, but it's just a little bit too heavy. Collected and booted back out towards the BYU defensive line. Summers hits the ground, and they're going to say that was a foul on Castaigne and threw the defender to the grass. Summers is going to take the free kick quickly. Here now it's Frischnick. She puts it out wide. Falling down to the feet. Pennock. Now Cromanhook with it. Cromanhook turns. Looking for options. Gets it back to Frischnick. Frischnick trying to push up. She operates her way towards the midfield, takes a couple heavy touches, and is still moving attacking. The center back has a couple assists to her name, likes to mix it up down in the attacking third, but ultimately the build-up just not good enough, but the ball is a little strong, but it's controlled here. Here's Pena attacking. It's 3-on-4 for TCU, takes the deflection, still with TCU, but now Pena loses it on a heavy touch. It's Pratt. She gets it to Kessler. Kessler looking up ahead. She's trying to find someone, and she does.
Now look, they teach you this at a young age whenever you play a game. If you're pushing that ball up the field, don't try to give a pass back, especially towards where players just were at, because that's where the pressure is. That's where the pressure is coming from. Don't play that ball back. If you're BYU, you have to try to find the space. You have to try to utilize all the space you have, just like this attack.
And a through ball here. Pratt tries one in the middle box. A touch taken, but it's going to be a harmless touch as TCU now clears it and sends it towards the halfway line. Sent out wide. Here comes Pena. Pena operating just near that halfway line. It's deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Lucy Kessler. And it's going to be a TCU throw.
This game is fading away for BYU, and really they just need to they just need one play.
Sense of urgency almost for the Cougars.
Yes, you need a sense of urgency, and they need to start being wiser with the ball. If you need to take a second, but when you're on defense, you're pressing for that ball for your life.
They want to be decisive with their passes, not necessarily lollygagging. 12:35 left in the regulation of this one. It's TCU 2, BYU 1. Ball played out wide, coming forward to the Cougars. Swung into the box, a couple bodies there, but it's going to harmlessly roll a little bit wide and go out over the end line. It'll be a TCU goal kick, and it'll be Plashko to take it. That was a nice run there made by Presley Freeman, the freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. Came a long way to play for this BYU Cougars team from Atlanta. But nonetheless, a nice run from her down the far side. She tried to swing it into the box, but it just went a little bit long.
And that's what you need. That's what you need little by little. Time is running out, and that's what you need. And time out here, but that's what you need if you're BYU. Because if you have a good cross into that box on that play, you're more than likely to score. I mean, no disrespect to Megan Plashko, but you're in point blank range. I mean, it's not disappointing, but BYU just needs to step up a little more, and they need to try to take control over the game because they've had it for these past couple minutes.
12:07 left in this one, and now counting as Plashko's goal kick is sent towards the halfway line with a couple bodies. He's nice little pass there by Vance. Almost caught it off the half volley, but it's a little too hard and takes a big deflection off the BYU attacker. Diorio then takes a big touch. She's now in control. She operates down that far side, cutting towards the edge of the 18. Fake shot. It's going to be last touched by a BYU defender. It'll be a TCU corner with 11:45 left and counting. The Horned Frogs leading the Cougars 2-1 here at CPKC Stadium. It's going to be a chance here. Diorio is going to take it from the corner kick. TCU tentative to send a lot of bodies forward. They don't want to leave themselves exposed to a counterattack, but jogging up is Mooney, Maddie Mooney, the senior defender. Probably wanted to get her name on the score sheet a little bit. TCU likes to take these short. We'll see if they do. Pena jogs close to the corner flag, but Diorio lifts the arm, now lowers it, swings leg, and sends one floating towards the middle of the box. Loose deflection, edge of the 18, but ultimately no danger for BYU. They push it out, gonna look for a counterattack. Try to play it through to Vance, but the ball is too heavy. Memoli now swings it out wide. It's with Diorio again, close to that corner flag. She operates now inside the 18. On the end line, she goes a little bit too far, bit too heavy of a touch. And now inside of 11 minutes, 10:50 and counting, TCU leading this game 2-1 over BYU, a matchup of the 1 seed and the 4 seed. As we see a substitution here for Jennifer Rockwood's Cougars. Coming on to the field, Addie Gardner. Coming off the field, Aaron Bailey. Bailey started this game. Gardner did too, so they're going to try to put Gardner in more of an advanced role. She's played kind of all over the pitch tonight, it seems. Every time you look, she's got the ball at her feet, or she just made a pass for the Cougars. But still, BYU's going to build it up from their back line. Pushing forward is Summer. She's trying to play someone through. She tries, but it's deflected. A nice play made by Lancaster. Still with Cromanhook. She looks up ahead. Vance with it now. Vance takes a chop turn. Could play Cromanhook, and she does. Ball's a little bit too heavy, though. It's deflected off Cromanhook and spinning out of bounds. It could sit down and not go out, but it does go out. Just goes out a yard past the corner flag, so it'll be a TCU throw. From honestly, this is a scary position. You're a yard away from your corner flag. You got to be kind of careful with this ball. You could turn it over and give BYU a real threat.
Yeah, and I mean, with BYU's press, just like that, I mean, it's especially dangerous, and you have to be wise here. You have to be wise.
The
You have
throw
to try
goes
chicken.
up the line, is deflected out by Vance. So really just a gain of about 15 there for TCU in terms of yards as Vance throws it Lancaster to the ground. The ref stopping play, coming over to have a word with Mackenzie Vance. No card issued, though. Just a warning. It'll be a throw in here for TCU. Patton to take it. 2 assists so far tonight for her. She's been quite good for the Horned Frogs. She sends it, hits the ground, controlled by Lancaster. Lancaster tries to turn the corner. She can't successfully. BYU still controlling it. Lancaster, though, getting physical and putting the ball out of bounds, but making her presence felt there with Lucy Kessler. It'll be a BYU throw. They're trying to push the ball into their attacking third. They swing it towards the edge of the 18. A nice throw-in is made, but not much done with it. Fryer tried to put it in the middle of the box, but nobody was there. Takes a couple deflections and now goes out. Throw-in from about the same spot is settled at the feet. Now takes a couple deflections. Last touch by, they're going to say, a BYU attacker. Last touch by Vance. So a timeout for the ref for substitutions. Seems like we're going to get Hennessy on for Lancaster, and we're going to get Whiteker on for, seems to be Baker. So Evie Baker, the freshman, will jog off. Whiteker, another freshman, will take her place.
And really, this is a defensive move for TCU. I mean, you replace one of your midfielders with a defender, and I feel like that the Whitaker move, the Whitaker change was very wise, especially as Gardner had just come on and Whitaker had her 10-15 minutes on the bench. So very smart play here from head coach Eric Bell.
In his 13th season at TCU, Eric Bell still got a couple good tricks up his sleeve as BYU holds possession now as they swing it, switching the field. Now at the feet of Pratt. She's trying to push forward. Finds Vance. Vance on the near side, just on the edge of the attacking third. Tries to play it back with Pratt, but Pratt made an overlapping run. So the ball harmlessly skitters back to Summers. Summers takes a big touch and pushes it up ahead, looking for Kromenhoek. She continues to be shut down by Brown as Brown sticks her leg in there and hits it loose. Now Pena with it, coming the other way. She puts it out wide to Diorio. Diorio with a nice touch, trying to cut through BYU defenders. She's going to take a touch past a BYU defender, but she's cut down, chopped down almost. And it'll be a yellow card for who seems to be Presley Freeman all the way on the far side. Presley Freeman gets another yellow for BYU. More yellows racking up for this team, but still no reds, so no player with 2 yellows yet. Just a caution right now for Presley Freeman, but BYU's got to get aggressive here. 8:15 left in this one. TCU 2, BYU 1 here at CPKC Stadium. It's win or go home, especially for this BYU team that's right on the fringes of getting in this tournament should they stay alive.
And that was a very intelligent play here from Presley Freeman. I mean, Diorio was gonna make that run down the wing and possibly punish BYU there, but she put in the foot and it paid off in the end.
Trying to push the ball in the middle field to no avail, and it's turnover for BYU and taken. Here's Patton with it now with Hennessy. Hennessy trying to play Castaigne through. The ball is just a little bit wide, rolls over the touchline, and will go out of bounds. 7:42 and counting left in this one. Desperate times for the Cougars. They need a goal to stay alive in this tournament and potentially stay alive for the NCAA postseason. They have a throw-in, though, on the edge of their defending third. Just trying to push up, find Kromenhoek, who's been controlled well by Brown all game. The throw is deflected off of Brown's foot and going towards the BYU end line. They're going to try to clear it out. It'll take a deflection off Castaigne. It'll be a throw-in just a yard past their corner flag. So a throw-in from a pretty precarious position here for the Cougars. Trying to work it up the field, and they do. Up the line, a touch taken. Fryer looking for options, now back. Summer pushes it up ahead. Looking for Gardner, but can't find her. Takes the deflection, controlled now. Here's Castaigne. Castaigne with her back to goal is dispossessed nicely. Good piece of defending there from BYU. Fryer with it, looking for options. She's fouled. She goes down. Brown getting physical, sticking her leg out and saying, nothing easy around these parts. Gonna put BYU in a free kick position here from their side of the field, but still not too far from the halfway line. Pushed up ahead. They find Pennock. Pennock tries to play it to Kromenhoek, but Kromenhoek miscommunication. It'll be intercepted nicely. Hennessy will push up ahead. Castaigne, she's one-on-one with Summers. Trying to push herself towards that end line, but Summers makes a nice play to step in front of it. Trying to kept in, but a heavy touch made. Goal kind of exposed right now. Hernandez tried to keep it in, but she took a heavy touch. Luckily for her, Pena also took a heavy touch. It'll go out of bounds. It'll be a BYU throw-in with 6:15 left and counting in this one.
And very lucky sequence there for BYU. I know Hernandez did correctly in trying to hit it off to the side, but that could have gone bad if TCU maintain possession.
Hennessy cutting in. She's now inside the 18, but it'll just turn around and dribble towards the corner. Looking for options. Castaigne finds it now. She's just on the sideline. It's poked out of bounds. Last touch by BYU. It'll be a TCU throw-in from about a yard short of the corner flag. So TCU doing a good job wasting time. Feels like every time I look up, a minute's gone by. 5:40 now left in this one. TCU 2, BYU 1 from CPKC Stadium in the semifinals of the Big 12 soccer tournament. Looking for options and thrown just at the feet of a BYU defender. It's now out to Brown. Brown just trying to waste time. Deflection, but a physical play made there. It's going to say that was on Vance. They're going to call her for a foul. So it'll be a TCU free kick from, you could say, kind of the edge of the 18, extended and then take a couple steps back. So she's probably about 25 yards outside of the goal, but she's just a yard away from the touchline. So a tough angle here. One where she could, swing it into the box in the threatening position if she wanted to. But right now the Horned Frogs want to waste time.
And I mean, did that ball bounce? Yeah, the ball ends up bouncing off of the BYU defender, and it's an opportunity to waste more time. And really, here's the thing. TCU doesn't have numbers up top too, so a counterattack isn't going to be possible for BYU. And if they do end up getting one, it's going to be super difficult to try to capitalize with 5 people in the back.
We've seen late goals in this tournament, but not many as late as this could potentially be. 4:35 and counting left in this game, as they're going to say a corner kick for TCU after a deflection. And so the Horned Frogs just continue to, stand around, mill around, waste time inside of 4.5 minutes left. TCU 12 shots on goal, BYU 9. Shots on target, difference just 1. TCU 6 to BYU 5. They're going to take the corner short and just stand there, trying to waste time in the corner. TCU putting on a clinic in terms of time wasting, but the ball is now loosened up and pushed towards the middle of the field. Here comes BYU the other way. It's a collision, but no foul called. They could switch the field, and they do. Kromenhoek pushing it out wide. It's going to find the feet of Freeman. Freeman's going to push it up ahead. She's looking for options. She's got Diorio marking her, but she pushes past the Big 12 attacker of the year, but it's deflected out of bounds. A nice play there made by Memely. It'll be a BYU throw. Zhao, you could feel like this is the last chance with 3:45 left in this one.
Yeah, and I mean, if they lose the ball, TCU is going to time waste to no avail. So, I mean, it's they have to take advantage here, especially having the ball in their possession.
Frischnick is dispossessed, but a nice tackle from Pena just trickles the ball out of bounds. It'll be back with the Cougars here. They're going to build it up, just parallel with their halfway line as they push forward. Here's Pratt with it, takes a touch. Now looking up ahead, finds the feet of Kromenhoek. She's been silent all game. They need her now more than they need her ever. Kromenhoek operating her way towards the corner. She could put one in the box. She tries to chop turn, but she can't successfully. She's dispossessed, but a turnover there. Pratt with it. Edge of the 18, tries the ball into the box, just scuffed it though, and it's going to be controlled by TCU. That could have been the last chance, but now with 3 minutes left in this one, it's going to be scooped up by Plashko, and TCU is going to be urged on up ahead. That was a good chance for Pratt. She just kind of scuffed the cross, and it trickled to Plashko with really no threat to goal.
Yeah, it was a good chance, but at the same time, if you're Pratt, I mean, you have to. First of all, you have time, you have space. Take a touch on the ball and then try to hit it. I don't know if that was a shot attempt or a cross attempt, but that could have been great for TCU if Pratt would have tried to take a second.
TCU once again back in their very favorite corner to hold the ball in as the clock needs to run. 2:30 now left in this one. TCU 2, BYU 1 as the Cougars chase an equalizer. Here's Hennessy with it. She's going to throw it in, but not very far. Correct. Right back, deflected to her. She's going to try to keep it in the corner. Hit out of bounds by BYU, but this clock is running. This clock is running for the Cougars, and it could be running out on their season. 2 minutes and 13 seconds left, but really nobody's made any play to put the ball in yet. Hennessy just walking calmly to throw the ball in. She has it now. Going to wind up, just throw it right at the feet of her teammate Lancaster. It's Buddha loose up the line and kept in. No, the ref's going to say out of bounds. That was an interesting call. It felt like that ball never really went out of bounds, just danced over the line. But here it is if you're BYU. Inside of 2 minutes left, 1 minute and 53 seconds left in this one. Clock is stopped for some reason. Clock is still stopped, and now it runs. 1 minute and 51 and counting. And now the Cougars have possession. Their touch is a bit heavy, and it's cleared out by Pena. She just booted that one into about a row F behind the TCU bench. So BYU is going to get it and throw it in. They're going to try to build it up and get it out of their kind of corner that they've boxed themselves into. Here's Vance with it. She swings it out. Now to the middle of the field. BYU has space, and here they go, pushing into the green grass. Pushed up ahead. Out wide now. With it, Freeman. Freeman puts it in the box, looking for Pratt, but it's deflected, now bouncing towards a TCU attacker. It's 4-on-1. She could be dispossessed, and she is. Frischnick makes a nice play. Now she takes heavy touches, pushing into the attacking third. Frischnick on the far side. 1:13 left in this one. It's deflected and goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw for BYU. Frischnick's going to give it up to Kromenhoek and then jog in the middle of the box. BYU kind of pushing everybody forward now. 60 seconds left in the semifinal of the Big 12 tournament. It's TCU 2, BYU 1. Kromenhoek puts it towards the edge of the box. Kicked up in the air. TCU calling for a high kick, and they're going to get the call. So it'll be a free kick just on the edge of the 18 for TCU, as they now will just waste as much time as they possibly can. I feel like that was kind of a really, perhaps a last-ditch effort for BYU that just harmlessly fell flat, as it's going to be at the boot of Plashko on the edge of the 18 to send this one up, and away to waste as much time as possible. 30 seconds left in this one. Plashko sends it hurtling towards midfield. Hit up in the air by a Cougar, takes a couple deflections as it's kept inbounds by BYU, but it's just pushed to the TCU defense, who then boots it way up ahead and way out. So it's going to be a throw in here. 16, 15 now. BYU's in the attacking third. They're going to have to try one from distance. 12 seconds. 10 now for the Cougars. A touch taken, dispossessed well. Memoli with a nice play. They're going to chop it into the box. A couple free runners. Deflection. More deflection. A chance here. BYU, a couple deflections, now out of bounds. That was the best chance the Cougars are going to get to end the game. The ref's going to say that's it, and the Horned Frogs hold on. After an exciting first half, we have a scoreless second half. Seasons end for the Cougars, but seasons continue for the TCU Horned Frogs. They are into the final as the 1 seed of the Big 12 tournament. Jalara, we had an entertaining second half, albeit one with no goals. What separated TCU tonight?
TCU, I mean, first of all, initially, they maintained the press. They maintained the press that allowed them to recover the ball, and that kept BYU in a position where they didn't have possession. TCU commanded possession. Now, gearing more towards the end, I have to commend the work of Coach Eric Bell, because what usually happens to teams when that put everyone in the back, they crumble under pressure and they just can't defend. But even then, the substitutions he made, like AJ Hennessy going in later towards the end of that second half, I mean, they were absolutely great, and they kept TCU in it defensively, and they were just able to counter with the high level of forwards that they had. Now, for BYU, this might have been their last attempt at possibly making the NCAA tournament, but we will see in a couple of weeks when they announce the 64 teams they'll be playing in there.
You and I were talking to our third man, Mahirson Hassan, before this game. We were saying, listen, there's Big 12 definitely has TCU in. They definitely have Texas Tech in. They probably have West Virginia in, with the fact that the Mountaineers were receiving votes in the latest poll. BYU, though, the 4 seed, kind of undetermined. We're not sure. But if they wanted a chance, they had to win tonight, or they had to play it close. And play it close they did. This was a close match that showed they can go toe-to-toe with a very, very good team at TCU. And now it's just sitting and waiting. Ideally for them, the 1 seeds win every single conference tournament. There's no bid stealers, and they can kind of sneak in to the round of 64 as one of the last teams in. But still, anything can happen. It's conference tournament time. It's chaos time in women's soccer. And that's going to be it for us for the first game of this 2-game slate. Stick around, because there's always 2 semifinals. We've got the second one coming up. And here's Hassan and Zhao Lara will talk to you. I'm Luke Lendler, joined by Zhao Lara. And so stick around. We'll talk to you in 40 minutes.
I thought I released a good album until Naughty Step said it was bad.
I hear this project and I am frustrated.
I better listen to Blaze Radio.
Hi, I'm Pedro. Did you know you can listen to anything? Blaze Radio says you can, and so do I. I believe that until listened to, every song, album, EP, and DJ set is hot until proven otherwise.
And that's why I fight for you, headbangers.
Hot FM. Hot FM on Blaze Radio. Listen live every Monday at 11 a.m. on blazeradioonline.com. That's blazeradioonline.com.
Is what I wanted. It's what I've been waiting for these cars to come off of this corner and